Welcome back. Welcome back to the Triple Single Podcast. We apologize for our very long, unplanned hiatus. This is actually the second time that I've had to make this address. We actually tried to come back about 2 weeks ago, and we recorded a 3-hour long episode full of juicy content that was so long and so full of good stuff that we were going to split it into two parts. And then the recording was corrupted or something. I don't know. Something happened,
Audio
and we lost the whole thing after a month absence, which was soul crushing. But we're back now because we don't got no quit in us. So we're here now to deliver the content, the goods. So much shit has happened since our last episode. There's really no point trying to just like catch up on stuff. Like, it's just too much to recap. Like, so much happens in this league every single night. Important stuff, cool stuff, funny stuff, bad stuff. You can't recap when you miss that long. So things are going to be relatively current. We're recording this January 14th at 9 p.m. immediately following the glorious Damian Lillard buzzer beater. I got to give a special shout out. This episode is brought to you by Damian Lamont Ali Lillard Sr. Shout out to him. But we'll get to all that later.
Senior, is his son also Dame?
Yeah, he has Dame Jr., I believe.
No shit. Okay.
Yeah. But no, we'll get to all that. We got it's gonna be a little bit less structured than normal. Just we're gonna be bouncing around and stuff a lot. I guess to start off with, we should probably address the OG Anunoby sized elephant in the room.
The new elephant in Madison Square Garden.
Well, I mean, it's probably the biggest trade that happened. It's definitely bigger than the other the Wizards and Pistons swapping bad players for other bad players.
Mike Muscala. Yes, sir.
I understand. I saw a tweet earlier today from this Pistons beat writer who was like, anytime you have to give up 2 second-round picks to overpay a player who you could have gotten in free agency just to 2 seasons later pay 2 more second-round picks to get off of his contract a year early, you just have to do it. The Marvin Bagley savior of Detroit arc was very short-lived, and now he's a Wizard. There's do we got to talk about it?
I will say it's kind of a funny trend. I mean, it can be kind of tragic, obviously, for the players involved. But personally, I find it very entertaining. The trope of lottery pick into bum into passed around to different teams who are delusional about their capabilities. And yeah, I don't know. It happened with Marvin Bagley. It's happening with Cam Reddish. I gotta say, I really like these arcs that teams and players go through. It's always very entertaining.
I mean,
Wiseman's gonna be different.
Oh yeah,
we need him.
That boy ass. Well, Marvin Bagley actually had a pretty decent stretch to start the season this year, and then he got injured, and he was just kind of like out of the lineup, and now he's not playing very much. But he was actually kind of cooking to start the year, but not so much these days.
Yeah, I know the Pistons fans seem to like him for the most part, but I mean, again, their team is so devoid of talent. They'd like anybody who can put the ball in the basket 2 times in a row.
Yeah, what does liking a Pistons player really entail?
Real. Like... You know what? This on my Stephen A shit. The people of Detroit should be celebrating. Isaiah Livers is not on your team anymore. He can't play.
Isaiah Livers actually cannot play. It's really like, if anyone had any delusions about whether or not the Pistons were trying to win any games, the fact that Isaiah Livers gets any minutes should let you know right there that
starting.
Yeah, no,
playing. There were nights where he played the most minutes on the team.
He averages 20 minutes a night. It's fucking crazy.
Like, that's crazy, no?
Like, these 34, 28, 66 splits on the year in 20 minutes a game. That is just...
I feel like we have already spent too much airtime on this trade.
Can we talk about the real trade, please? Yeah. I want to talk... I actually want to lead this because I... completely by accident, like 2 months in advance, bought tickets to see Wolves versus Knicks at the Garden on New Year's Day, which so happened to be the first day of the OG Anunoby experiment, and we won. That was cool. It was also the first day, or I guess the second, technically, since he didn't play the game before, without Mr. Emmanuel Quickly. And so, I want to talk about this trade. He was my favorite Knicks player. That was my dog. And look, I I have no delusions about how good he is because you really don't need to be deluded about him. He's just really quite good.
A damn good player.
Like in my opinion, deserving sixth man of the year last year he's like a top 80, 75, 70, like around there player in the NBA. Like he's average to above average for his position if he were a starter. Now he is starting. He's been good. Quickly's a really good player. I don't think he's that much worse than OG. I didn't like this trade for us. I understand we've been good. I like that we've been good. I understand that OG brings something that RJ Barrett didn't bring, which is that he's good at basketball. And I really appreciate him for that. He's probably our best defender, period, since we had like Tyson Chandler, and that's really cool. But I don't know. He's got a player option after this year. IQ is a restricted free agent, so we could have kept him if we wanted to, even though it seemed like we didn't want to. RJ is like, he's not much of a value add in my opinion on that contract, but he's something. He can maybe become something or be added to something else. I felt like we overpaid for OG considering his status as a potentially expiring player. And I know he might resign, but I'm still not sure that in a year he's going to be better than IQ. Because Quickly has shown so much growth as a defender, as a shot maker, as a ball handler. And I think him getting like first team reps in Toronto is going to do a lot for him. OG is kind of like, he's a good meal, but the meal's already been cooked. You can't recook the meal. You can't add stuff. It's already out of the microwave. And I don't think he's going to get any better, and that's fine. He's a good player. He's a great defender. We've been asking him to guard the opposing team's best player pretty much every night since we got him. He's done an excellent job. But I still feel weird about it, and it doesn't help that RJ has decided to actually be good in Toronto. I don't really know what that's been about. He played like his best game since the U17 championship versus the United States.
He got
randomly.
some Tim Hortons in his stomach, and he's been fucking spazzing ever since.
No, I know. And like, hey man, good for him. I wish him well. I don't hope he fails. But like, it's making me sad that he's succeeding, Bashiri, what do you think as a fellow unfortunate Knicks fan?
I think a few things. I think
Also, we gave him the 31st pick for nothing. That felt weird.
Yeah,
I don't know why we did that.
That was a bit weird. I mean, I guess it's personally, I think as of right now, I would have rather because this trade has been an ongoing discussion for over a year at this point. We wanted him last year at the deadline and didn't make the move. But back then, it was the talks were RJ and picks for OG Anunoby, which I would have been very happy with. But this time around, I guess Toronto valued IQ over the picks, so we didn't give up 2 or 3 or 4 firsts or however much fucking Masai wanted. But we ended up having to give up Emmanuel Quickly, which does suck a lot. He, for the last 2 years, has been arguably the best backup in the entire NBA. And he's starting now and putting up great numbers, averaging like 18 and 5 on 60% true shooting. He's been really, really solid. I also agree that I don't really think he's much worse than OG, if at all. But I guess the concern from a team building perspective is that even if he is that good, he is limited in our roster construction by not being able to play with the best player, we don't know that he can't play with Jalen Brunson. I mean, lineups.
We just don't try it.
Yeah, with lineups with Quickly and Jalen Brunson perform quite well, but more specifically, the front office and our coach don't want to play him with the best player, which is a limit on his ability in this team context. So trading him for a guy who fits perfectly with the 2 best players, he plays a different position. He had spacing. He's versatile. All that is good. And replacing RJ Barrett's production in the starting lineup is also a huge plus with OG's shooting. RJ, regardless of how he's played in the first 7 games in Toronto, is not the level of shooter that OG Anunoby is. So from that perspective, I understand it. It fixes a lot of roster construction issues that there have been. We've lacked wing depth. We have had too many guards. Quickly's position as the sixth man, the go-to guy off the bench, has limited the roles of other guys like Miles McBride and Quentin Grimes, who have been productive in the time that he's been gone. So, I don't know. Obviously, it sucks that IQ's gone, and it does suck that he and RJ have both played well in Toronto so far. But I don't really see any reason for us to be particularly unhappy with it. And also, too, trading for OG is really sort of what I view as like a penultimate move, like the move before the move. So really, I guess how it all shakes out depends on what the front office does from here, and how they can add on to the core that they've created with Brunson, OG, Julius, and the center core. So I don't really hate it. I mean, our team's winning games, and that's what matters the most to me. So
DeJounte Murray, you are probably a New York Knick.
Yeah,
I don't think people who don't watch the Hawks have realized how far he slid. People are still talking about him as a point of attack, like a high level point of attack defender. Brother, his on-ball defense has regressed to like an incredibly average level, and I'm gonna be honest, based on this year and last year, he might be one of the worst off-ball defenders in the association currently. Like it is impressive how many times a game he gets beat backdoor, but that's a whole nother can of worms.
To be fair, that is true. He is definitely like super gas as a defender. I think some of it might be that he feels, I don't know, maybe he's too taxed in that system playing next to Trae Young. Maybe was just never that good to begin with. I don't know. But I do think that we could put him, especially with a player like OG, that we could put him in an easier position to do what he does well and not get picked on as much. And to his credit, also, I have established I don't like this player. I really don't like this player. But this season, the 3-point shooting has kind of been a revelation for him. This is like, he's always been a good mid-range shooter. He's always been a good free throw shooter. This is like his first time where he's like actually for real from downtown. And it's helped the Hawks a lot. Like, I like the connective passing a little bit more. I think he's learned more how to play next to Trae. And I think that's really excellent if we were to bring him on, because Brunson isn't Trae Young, but he does have the ball as much as Trae Young. So learning how to beat someone who doesn't have the ball is really important if we are going to bring him on. And I mean, I'd rather trade for him than Zach LaVine at this point, because I have no idea what's going on with that guy.
Forgot how to play.
Yeah, he forgot how to play. And he's checked out, and the price is too high, and it's just it's everything. I don't know. I would be okay with it, I guess. Like, if you asked me like 3 months ago, I probably would have like fought you or something. But like now we don't have to. We could just have a spirited discussion.
Also, too, I think as of right now, our price for DeJounte Murray would be comparatively quite low to Zach LaVine or I mean, there are like Karl Anthony Towns rumblings, and I'm
don't say that.
Like Evan Fournier and some shit.
Yeah, it would be like Fournier and then Grimes and like, throw in
pick
a
or two.
pick or two, and you call it a day, which is really not that big of a deal for a DeJounte Murray level player. I'm not in love with it, but I see the outlook, especially like you said, the shooting is drastically better, so much better that it almost seems fake. But we're like 40 games into the season now, and he's shooting 39% on 6 attempts. It's
funny too, because if you remember, he started the year, I'm pretty sure he missed his first like 14 or 15 threes. Like he didn't hit his first 3 of the season until their like 6th or 7th game when they played us. So that's just kind of funny. But I kind of want to circle back from the hypothetical to the trade that did happen, just because I have a couple thoughts about it. I like this for a couple reasons for you guys. We'll discuss on the court product first. I mean, you can say what you want about single game plus minus, and like plus minus as an indicator of positive performance and stuff like that. But it is worth noting, through the first 5 games of OG Anunoby's Knick tenure, he was over plus 100. That is the first time in NBA history a player has been over 100 in their first 5 games with a new franchise. And you guys went 5-0 in that span. You're 6-1 since you traded for him. And I mean, visually, what you see on the court kind of matches up with that. We've been talking about for years, mostly you guys harping to me about why Zach LaVine would be good. There is the real difference that it would make to just have someone in the corner who can knock that shit down consistently. And I mean,
Yeah,
this
he does
season,
that. He is corner man. He is really good at that.
yeah, I mean, this season he's been one of the best corner 3-point shooters in the whole association. And I mean, it's reaped a lot of rewards. He's a big physical wing. You know, he kind of fits with the way that Tom Thibodeau likes to play. He can play a shit ton of minutes every night. He'll get in there and rebound, guard the best player, all that type of stuff. He's a guy who fits nicely over there. Another reason I like it, I don't think people give the Knicks enough credit for the way that they've kind of positioned their cap. You guys have some of the best contracts in the whole league, value-wise. Like Jalen Brunson descending. Evan Fournier has a team option next year. OG has a player option that he's almost certainly going to decline to sign a longer deal. But Mitchell Robinson descending.
The extension is between OG and the Knicks is kind of a done deal, as it were. So.
I mean, I would kind of figure. I mean, he's going to get a lot of fucking money. That's just kind of a fact. But if you look at their salary cap, if they either move off of Evan Fournier this deadline or decline his option, depending on how much money OG gets and his extension, there's a chance you guys are going to have this nice core right now and still be slightly under the salary cap and have the chance to sign some people, you know, have a little bit of flexibility. I don't know exactly how much money you're going to have because I can't add up money like this fast, but
no,
but even if you accept Fournier's team option, now you have 19 million and, you know, some other shit. And I mean, it's kind of what's been discussed for seasons on seasons now is we're waiting for the Evan Fournier plus some shit and $1 million first-round picks to go get an even better player. So anytime you can make a trade like this and not be like completely capped out, especially getting off the RJ Barrett extension, was really crucial. And you know, you can say what you want about how he's playing now. People just gotta understand like the reality of the situation is the Knicks made the right move by getting off of him, and it doesn't really matter how he plays now or how he plays for the rest of his career. Because the fact is he wasn't doing that as a Knick, and he probably was never gonna do that as a Knick, and that's fine. That stuff just kind of happens.
No, that's true. That's definitely true. He was not going to be that player here, and so there's not like a real sunk cost, even if he is like it looks like he's playing well.
He's had stretches like this for us, like not quite as good, but he's done stuff like this in the past, and then gone back to his normal shenanigans.
Well, and so he's certainly the most. I think most people he's the most high profile and like the most household name in that trade, and he's certainly the most expensive player. But to me, Emmanuel Quickley was really the centerpiece of that trade.
Yeah, easily.
I don't think that gets done without IQ. If they offer them RJ and Grimes, we're looking at like multiple first round picks because Grimes doesn't have the same juice as IQ. IQ's incredibly valuable. He's the main piece of that trade for the Raptors.
I'm actually really sad. I know the stat about the plus minus, and that is super sick. But it made me remember another stat that makes me really upset. Before the trade, can you guess who the Knicks leader in total plus minus was?
It was probably IQ.
It was Emmanuel Quickley. Last year, can you guess who the Knicks total leader in plus minus was?
I actually know that was IQ.
It was Emmanuel Quickley. The year before that, can you guess who the Knicks total leader in total plus minus was?
Jericho Sims.
Emmanuel Quickley again. I don't think Sims is in the league yet.
My fault.
The year before that, can you guess who the Knicks leader in total plus minus was?
Was that an Elfrid Payton year still?
That was Elfrid Payton, yeah.
Yeah, shout out to Elf.
So who do you think it was?
Elfrid Payton.
No. Different guard.
Kemba Walker was really hooping like that. Wow.
No, Kemba Walker was the next year.
Oh, fuck. Dude.
It was Derrick Rose. Emmanuel Quickley was second, though. Yeah, I'm really gonna miss him. I guess if OG is willing to take a discount and stay, and maybe I don't know, maybe the meal isn't cooked. Who knows? It remains to be seen. If the RJ extension, which by the way, so funny, that's like our first rookie extension in 20 years, and we treated it as a negative asset.
He's gone. I mean, it was a negative asset.
I'm not sure it was, but if it does end up looking like a negative asset, then like whatever, fine. I just really hope, because the thing is, I was doing a little bit of looking, a little bit seeing. I was looking at the IQ solo star numbers with no Brunson, no Randall, because that's what I like to do, and that's what I think you should do when a player like gets to do a bigger role. Is like, how are they with more primacy? And they're really good. They're really good, and it makes me scared because that was the same trend. That was the same thing I saw when I looked at related player Jalen Brunson when we first got him, and it was like, well, look at this. Actually, he's actually pretty fucking good without Luka on the floor. Maybe he could handle more, but probably not, right? And now here we are, and he's like knocking on All NBA. So I'm not saying the same thing is going to happen. What I am saying is I really hope it doesn't,
Well, that's
because
the thing.
then I would be
Even
sad.
If that's the case, like you said it yourself, like even if he's able to do that, our team has Jalen Brunson on it and is gonna continue to have Jalen Brunson on it. So
Yeah.
if he's that good without Jalen Brunson, it doesn't help as much, considering Jalen Brunson's playing in front of him.
I just wish we would have given them the playing together thing a little bit more of a shot. Just a little
It
bit.
could be the case, but at the end of the day, it's trading the bench lethality for more cohesion in the starting lineup.
Yeah.
Brunson and Randall
Fuck it.
both played really well since the trade as well. I think
Maybe we like make
both
the
finding it a
ECF or
lot
something,
easier.
and it doesn't matter.
All right, chill out.
Yeah,
I
my
I
bad,
mean,
though.
that shit is
Well,
definitely.
you don't want us to see you there? Come on, man.
Brother, we aren't getting there. I'm just playing.
Well, I know, but like it'd be nice to say.
Ooh. Ooh.
Anyway, what else we got? You guys want to do awards now? I feel like we haven't talked about awards since like October.
Oh yeah, I mean we're kind of just gonna retread ground, like give some updates and stuff
All right.
on where we
that's
feel with the
fair.
awards.
Can we do the easy one first?
Yeah, Sixth Man of the Year is Malik Monk's award to lose.
Yeah, what a great player for the Bucks he was tonight.
Real.
Oh boy,
No,
I mean
yeah,
he's been good.
is MVP easy?
No, that's not what I was talking about. I was talking about Depoy. Yeah, I
Oh.
think Depoy is still easy. I think it's still Rudy.
Yeah, it's probably still Rudy Gobert.
Yeah, I mean they continue to be the best defense in the NBA. It doesn't look that close besides Boston. He's still doing the crazy rim shit. Guys just like don't shoot in the restricted area when he's on the floor. When they do, they have a hard time. It's simple. He's Rudy Gobert. You know what Rudy Gobert does. You're not fucking stupid. It's like whatever.
Wow,
Well, and it was
my
very.
original award predictions, and they got blown the fuck up. That is
Yeah.
dude.
I was talking about a Devin Booker MVP. I mean, everything that I said was correct. It's just he's been in and out, and the Suns aren't very good for some reason. Like, it's just a lot going on over there.
It's a
but
tough scene. MVP is an interesting one.
Yeah, I mean, we should give some love to Mr. Suggs.
Yeah,
I think we
yeah.
should.
Oh, you want to do MIP first? Because he deserves a bring up there, I think.
Yeah, MIP is actually really fun because I thought of some new people since we last talked about it.
Oh, on God. Okay. Yeah. So, like you said, so in the deleted episode, one of the most unfathomable things that has ever happened to me in my entire life occurred, which is that I was excited to talk about Jalen Suggs, and Bashiri, of all people, one of the biggest Jalen Suggs dislikers I know.
Number one op.
He anticipated me. He in-befored me and gave like a 5-minute impassioned speech. I think he had it written down on flashcards. About how good Jalen Suggs has been, how he was shooting like 39% from three, and how he's turned into arguably the best perimeter defender, like point of attack guy in the NBA, which is fucking unbelievable. And all of those things are true, and I just want to say that I really hate you for doing that. Yeah, he's been amazing. I think he deserves MIP consideration. Of players, I was on if y'all know who, probably not, Kostya Medvedevsky is the Darko guy. He runs Darko, as just mentioned, which is like a all-in-one stat that aims to measure more like talent than goodness or impact, right? And so it's like a projection of like how good a player is, not how good they've been this season. Like it tries to do like a talent evaluation thing. And in terms of year-to-year improvement, he's like top 10 in the entire NBA. Although I will say he's not even first among the Jalens because Jalen Johnson is also there.
Shout out to that guy.
Nicolette product. Shout out, Pride of Wisconsin. Shout out to
Very
JJ.
true, Mr. Basketball Wisconsin, I believe.
Yes, sir.
And why do I know that?
Because he's
I think
him.
I watched the Hawks game the other day. It
'Cause
came
he's
up.
him.
Yeah, like I was on record during like the pod we did saying like right now I think he's MIP, but like he's totally not going to keep this up, and then he just totally kept it up, and he's been the same player the whole time, and he's like a knockdown shooter, and he's great from the line. He's incredibly efficient from every spot on the floor, and he's a defensive wrecker, and he makes some pretty good decisions with the ball, and he just turned into like he went from like maybe not like scrub tier, but he was bad last year. He was outright not good, and now he's outright very good. Like,
Well, and you can kind of see the intangibles. Like he's always had some marks in his game that I like. That to me shows that if he can nail some of the other stuff, that he could be a really good player. Like the passing vision has always been there. He just didn't really always have the touches or the time of possession and stuff like that to fully get to flesh out plays the way that he does now. But now it's like, man, he can catch the ball in the middle of the floor and play make. Off the short roll, he can hit the corners. And with the way that his rebounding has improved so much, like he can get offensive rebounds, and he's very lightning fast at catching it, kicking out to shooters, like finding the right people, crafty interior passes. He really can pass to any area of the floor, even if his assist numbers don't like jump off the page. If you just watch him on a possession by possession basis, like the Hawks get a lot of like one mores where he doesn't get the assist, but like he really made the play. He does a lot of that. He's always been a super athlete. And with his frame, there's always a lot to like there when someone's that athletic and has like that much of a motor to play defense, so he could be switchable. It's really the shooting, and his touch around the rim has improved so much. So it's really just like the scoring efficiency that's improved. That's kept him on the floor. He's a better defender than ever. He's a better rebounder than ever. But I really love him.
He's just better at all of basketball by like a significant margin.
Really,
he's always been a smart player. Like we all knew that coming out of Gonzaga. Like he was very polished.
I thought we were talking about Jalen Johnson.
Oh, we are.
Oh.
I mean, Jalen Johnson.
Jalen Johnson. I was like, they pretty.
Mr. Basketball Wisconsin, Jalen Suggs.
honestly, all of that is kind of true for Jalen Johnson as well. Like for Jalen Johnson and Jalen Suggs, just like everything got better this season from both of them. Like, but the shooting is incredible. Like Johnson,
it's
40%.
Johnson's like 40, yeah, Suggs like 39.
Dude, what's crazy? That first episode when we were talking about that, I was like, I don't know if his efficiency is gonna stay like this. It's fucking climbed.
Yeah.
He's up to 58% from the field and 40% from three.
No, he's just an elite play finisher now.
Dynamic for Trey and DeJounte that is really nice too. Like both of them have kind of also gained from his ability to find people on the floor and attack downhill. Like I saw Trey Young make like 3 catch and shoot corner threes in a row one game. I'm like, has he ever done that in his career?
And so is laid out the next piece of the Atlanta Hawks puzzle, where they have so many good players but are just such a bad team.
Yeah.
Like Trey started off horribly and has been amazing since then. And DeJounte is having a much better season than last year and has improved in a lot of the areas they needed him to improve in, except the defensive shit that I already brought up, but whatever.
But then who else is there? Because I'm not sure I see the so many good players thing.
Jalen Johnson has improved fucking 400% or 500%. Bogdanovich is arguably a 6th man of the year candidate.
Okay, he's good.
Yeah, I guess
it does kind of stuff. They have enough offensive talent for sure to be a good team. It's just the problem with this core has really always been the defense, and even the players on this team that are supposed to be good defenders are bad defenders.
Can they fucking play AJ Griffin?
Yeah, that's another thing. AJ Griffin is just like completely like.
Why do they hate him?
Listen, all due respect, I love Wesley Matthews. Why is Wesley Matthews and fucking Garrison Matthews getting burned?
Bro,
over AJ Griffin,
people are talking about AJ Griffin like he's a throw-in for a DeJounte Murray trade. I'm like, yo, this kid is sick. Like, what are you?
He's good.
He had like top 5 hype before he got hurt, and then he got hurt, and now he's not hurt anymore, and he plays like the player that he was when he wasn't hurt, but now he doesn't play. Like it's
Well,
so
and
weird.
now
He
he
was
looks.
just a quality player last year. In
Well,
day
now
one.
he looks really bad. Like if you look at his splits, he's shooting like 30% from the field. But it's like how is a
He
20-year
takes a
old
shot a game.
right? How is a 20-year-old player in this league playing 8 minutes a game, only getting put in like blowouts and like spot minutes and shit? How are you supposed to get in a rhythm? Especially someone like him, where like last season he was one of the most efficient jump shooting rookies
And
in the
he's
whole
been in the
class.
rotation, and then this like he comes in this season, and Quinn Snyder's like, "Yeah, you're not gonna fucking play, kid." Like,
Yeah, I'm sorry, Quinn Snyder's a fucking terrorist for that.
like that's
If there was another player who I thought warranted that, like if they still had Kevin Herter around or something like that, like that'd be a little bit more understandable. But again, I'm seeing Garrison Matthews get tick before this guy, and it's pissing me off. And I went to bat for you, Quinn. I went to bat for you. I
We all did.
I said at the beginning of the season, if there's anybody who could figure out this Hawks team, it's that guy. Man, blow this shit up. Get it out of here. Get it all out of here.
You said you had other MIP picks. Who do you got?
Kobe White has been fucking
Oh,
spazzing.
true.
Kobe White has been fucking spazzing all year long, and I am tired of people not talking about it. The Bulls started the year terribly, 6-14. Or sorry, 5-14 at their worst. Zach LaVine goes down. The season looks completely chalked. We're talking, we need to blow up the team. That's still true, but we need to build around Kobe White. It is officially the Kobe White Michael Jordan era. Ever since Zach LaVine went down and Kobe White has been starting, they went from 5-14 to now they are 19-22, and he's been fucking electric all season long, statistically and just like visually. He has been so damn fun to watch. He's basically doubled his points per game. He's been efficient as hell this year. I said last year I could kind of see a jump like this coming. I don't think I predicted it to this extent, but I said last year I think he improved a lot, and it kind of went under the radar because he got better at a lot of things that I don't think we really knew Kobe White for. Like I could kind of tell last year he was starting to become a much smarter on ball and like system defender. His processing was getting a lot faster, and he was just kind of making better decisions with the ball. Kobe White's whole thing before was that like he could have nights where he was super efficient and like he's always been like a pretty good like tough shot maker and like spot up shooter, but he had this like uniquely Kobe White problem where he did just like very unintelligent things with the ball in his hands. And not only is he not doing that anymore, he's like completely opposite now. Like he's making crazy plays now, and the shooting has been magnificent. He had a stretch of like I don't remember how many games it was, but he broke like a franchise record in games in a row with 3+ threes made in a game. He's just been efficient as all hell this year. He's a better playmaker. Like when you see him out on the floor, like the Bulls offense for what it is looks significantly better when Kobe White is on the floor. And that's why they get into these close situations, and DeMar DeRozan still wants to play my turn, your turn with Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic, and it fucking pisses me off because Kobe White has been so damn good all year with the ball in his hands in every situation, especially clutch situations. And I see the vision. The vision is there. Trade DeMar. Trade Vucevic. The Kobe White era is here. I think he can be. I hope he turns out better than that guy. I think he can be like a couple years ago when DeJounte got the keys and he took off and had like an all-star type season. And then they sold him at his peak value to the highest bidder. I think Kobe White can be that type of guy for the Bulls if they blow up this team. I think if they blow it up, he could be great next year and then
You think he can ruin the Hawks' future as well?
I think he can go do much better things because he's a better player.
That would be.
I mean, we're talking since the start of December, he's averaging 23 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists, 48% from the field on 43% from 3 on like 7.5 attempts a game. That's kind of insane.
I
You
got
guys
to
see
see
the
him.
graphic listing out those stats and then putting them next to Steph Curry's stats for the same period.
Yeah.
And
And I
won't
made
say
a
anything
tweet.
more.
I made a tweet about a month ago. Jalen Johnson was injured, and I didn't think he was going to be back for a while, and I kind of thought he would get off to like a pretty slow start when he got back, and it would probably mess up his case for MIP, but that hasn't really been the case. I made a tweet on December 18th, and I said, Kobe White is really the most improved player this year. What a cool story his career has been. It's very, not to the same degree, but it's very Brooke Lopez-esque in that he's come into the league and is just like a complete polar opposite player of what he was when he came in. It looked like his ceiling was like really good spot up guy, like probably going to be a 40% like knockdown shooter at some point in his career, and just be like a two guard who can like do some light ball handling and shit. And now it's like, dude, this guy's a legit point guard. He does a little bit of everything. He guards pretty well. So he's a cool player. He's a cool player. I've really enjoyed watching him and getting to see him grow this season. So that'd be another guy who I would throw in there.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta
What
say,
an
for a
out-
Bulls fan, there's not a lot to look forward to there right now. So
What a spectacular outcome we're at. Where this season, Kobe White with the ball in his hands has been better than Zach LaVine with the ball in his hands. Can you believe
And
that?
he's only 23, by the way.
Can you think about that? Think about how good
Sorry,
both
go
of
on.
those players were compared to each other last year, and now that we're here,
yeah,
like, hey,
shit
yeah, that's
changes
a good
fast.
pick. Yeah, life happens.
Yeah, the Zach Levine decline has been televised, unfortunately.
Oh boy,
Been very loudly televised.
man.
I sorry, I blacked out for a minute. I was thinking about Zach Levine with the ball in his hands.
Very true.
That's
Yeah,
That's
it's just
just-
sad, and it's kind of hard to picture what the next steps look like for the Bulls, because you have these guys on really big contracts that aren't playing up to really big contracts, and like DeMar's playing fine, but nobody's really like out here fiending for a 35-year-old DeMar DeRozan. And then Levine, who is supposed to be kind of like your golden chip, has, for whatever reasons, like he's checked out or he's just forgot how to play. Like he doesn't want to. He's not getting you anything on his. What is he making in his last year? Like
Yeah, you know, that's
$50,000?
it's an interesting trade scenario actually. Where the fuck does DeMar DeRozan go if they do decide that they're gonna trade everything at the deadline? Where the fuck does DeMar DeRozan
I mean,
go?
you kind of have to trade him, no? Like
But like where? Like who is calling about DeMar DeRozan? With all due respect to him,
Nick's Twitter, I guess. I mean,
like he DeMar's a good player. Like it's just I don't know what value his skill set holds for his price point to any team that like wants to be serious. You know what I mean?
very little. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you'd want someone on a bad contract and a combination of picks, but you're not going to really get a ton of player value back from him, considering he's expiring.
Yeah, that guy's a warrior.
The classic number one who's not
God.
very good at being a number one. And then
Andrew
is well
Wiggins,
suited for being other
welcome to the
numbers.
city of Chicago.
I
If
don't like the
Anthony
Warriors
Edwards gets
getting
kidnapped,
wasted,
they could
right?
probably use DeMar, I guess. But like, I don't know. It's
Is DeMar's value much higher than uh Andrew Wiggins, Moses Moody, and like Trice Jackson Davis?
That's
Andrew
probably an
Wiggins is
overpay.
terrible this year. I don't even know what to tell
I
you,
know.
man.
I know.
Yeah,
I like
It's
speaking of
Trace.
guys
I
that
like
forgot how
Trace.
to play basketball.
dude. What the fuck?
No, I don't want to talk
happened?
about it. No. Please.
Okay,
No, no
and,
more.
and let me preface this by saying, because obviously he was out for some pretty serious shit last year, and I hope that that's all like over. I think we lightly addressed this in the episode that we recorded that got deleted.
Yeah.
I hope that that's not the reason that he's playing bad now. Like, I hope that's all kind of behind him. And if it is, who the fuck knows what's wrong with him, man? Like players decline like every year, or there's someone falls off or something like that. It's usually like at least somewhat incremental. Like you usually at least will have, like, for most players, especially players making that type of money, you'll have 1 year at least where it's like, okay, this guy's a worse defender, but he's still pretty good at scoring the ball. Or like, okay, this guy doesn't have the same type of athletic burst, like off the
It's usually
dribble,
not a
but
28-year-old who's had like 4 of the exact same season in a row.
who's one of the most athletic prospects ever.
Yeah.
And it's just like he's forgotten how to do
Everything.
every single thing, like every single aspect of basketball.
I just
like-
looked it up. Andrew Wiggins between last year and this year, his estimated plus minus has dropped 6.4 points.
That's
Fucking
ridiculous.
For comparison, the 6.4 is the difference between, oh boy,
What are we gonna find?
LeBron James and Ryan Rollins.
What the fuck?
That is how much Andrew Wiggins has gone down this year.
That is staggering.
Yeah, I really don't know, man. I hope he figures it out. He seems like a cool guy. The Warriors are. I don't know. I don't want them to win anymore. I'm kind of over it, but I want them to be like
everyone's
competitive.
okay.
So it's funny when they lose and not just sad.
Well,
'Cause
and
right now it's sad.
when he was good and they were good, he was literally Mr. Consistent. Like he literally had the exact same season 3 seasons in a
People
row.
were making fun of him because he always scored exactly 17 points in every game and would always shoot like the same percentage and always play the same level of defense and get
And he was
3
great at
assists
it.
and 5
And they-
rebounds.
And they got a championship off of it. He did
Yeah.
he did the exact same thing every single night. And whatever you needed, he would provide that. He could be a playmaker. He could create his own shot. You know, a little something off the bounce. Super reliable catch and shoot guy, near 40% every single year. Great rebounder. You know, you really leverage his athleticism. He could guard the best perimeter player or like really big wings and stuff like that. Like he guarded LeBron in a playoff series and stuff like he really was that dude for 3 seasons. Like was just the perfect player for them. I want to know where that guy is.
I feel like
He
there's
was like
some
a
kind of
top
curse
40
on this whole Warriors squad because it feels like it's happened to all of them to varying degrees. Like
Dog, this season's
Steph
just fucking
started
chalked.
this season incredibly, and he's fallen off a cliff the last couple months.
Stop.
Clay,
He's tilted.
Washed. Yeah, I mean,
He's legitimately
yes,
tilted.
Steph just looks really mad when he's on the bench. Wiggins forgot how to play. Chris Paul's old. Draymond was also really bad before he got himself suspended again. And
I don't agree with that.
no, he was pretty. His defense was really, really bad for those.
I mean, that's valid. I don't know. He's shooting 43%.
No, the shooting was cool, but this is like the
Regular
worst his defense has maybe ever looked.
Yeah,
No,
I
that's
think
valid.
that this is probably like not even just worse for his case. Like he was just bad in general, and
Crazy.
yeah, I mean it shows. Kevon Looney was already not great, and he's worse somehow.
He's benched for Trace Jackson Davis, which hey, I like Trace Jackson Davis. This is cool.
Yeah,
That's a cool storyline too.
But why does Kevon Looney stink? Like,
I mean,
why did this happen?
that's kind of been the story for all their young players.
Kevon Looney was the same way too. I feel like the last couple years it was like, man, you can always depend on Looney. He's gonna do the same thing every night. You can't ask too much of
6
him, but like
points, 7 rebounds, 3 of them offensive.
he's just gonna be a play finisher, protect the rim, rebound the fuck
Couple
out
of
of the ball.
assists. You know, he
Right.
did some little backdoor cuts and shit, handoffs.
But I mean, that's kind
Now
of the
he's-
story. Like
Ugh.
their starters suck, and these young guys who some of whom had been written off and others of whom we didn't really think much of in the first place have really showed out. Kuminga's kind of coming into his own a little bit. He's had really big games. Pajemski came out of nowhere. We talked about him during the draft as like,
Pajemski.
you know,
he's
he's
been
a
so
really good
good.
shooter, but what else does he bring to the table? And you know, he's
A lot,
really good
apparently.
shooter. Yeah, he clearly brings a lot to the table.
Oh, you can do a little bit of everything.
Moses Moody looks like he can play. He didn't look like he could play for the last like 2 years.
Dude, and what the fuck is man?
Trace
Steve Kerr
Jackson
pisses
Davis we mentioned.
Steve Kerr pisses me off, bro. Warriors fans, I will go to bat for you here because someone needs to give a voice to the voiceless.
Do you think
Yep.
Warriors fans are the voice?
Steve Kerr, I'm on your
Got
fucking
this
ass.
face on.
I'm on your ass, Steve. Why won't you play Moses Moody, who's one of the most legit to me 3-and-D players on your roster? One of the only dudes who's not just like a complete fucking turnover machine anymore. And is like I don't know. I feel like Moses Moody has a very reliable game when he's allowed to play consistently and get in rhythm. He just doesn't play at all. It took forever for Trace Jackson Davis to really earn the minutes that he should have been getting, and same thing with Podge. And Steve Kerr's insistence on this whole the vets have earned it, and you know the vets have earned the right to see this thing through and you know, hang on to their spots and stuff like that. It's like, brother, I can't watch Chris Paul anymore. I can't watch Andrew Wiggins anymore.
Klay Thompson has earned the right to chuck us out of games.
I mean,
Klay
at
Thompson has
least
earned the right to
Wiggins
get on
got
his fucking
benched.
boat and stop coming to these games, man. It's
Oh man.
But yeah, no.
and I mean I'll give credit to Klay. He too started the year really bad and has really turned it around. As of late, he had a stretch where he was averaging like 25 points a game super efficiently, but it's just like
I mean,
Man.
Clay knows it too. Clay knows he's washed.
Yeah.
Like, he
Yeah.
knows. Bro, he's on PG's podcast talking like, yeah, just doesn't feel the same anymore. Which is
So
of
sad.
course it's very sad, but it's like they know what time it is, and your young guys are playing really well. And I mean, for me personally, like I could do without all of their young players being super sick and they just run this shit back again. But from a basketball perspective, it's annoying.
That makes me think about it. You really think about like 2 or 3 seasons ago, we were having conversations about the Warriors front office and like they're doing something we've never seen before. They're building 2 different timelines at the same time. They're competing for a championship, but they're in a unique position where they have all this high draft capital and they're getting in all this crazy talent. Wiseman, Kuminga, and Moody are gonna run this shit in a few years. They're learning from some of the greatest players to ever play the game. By the time they're at their prime, all this knowledge they've soaked up, they're gonna be, man. We could be looking at another dynasty. There's 2 timelines, brother. Is there even fucking one anymore?
I guess this is. I think the first timeline ended 2 years ago, and now the second one is like hasn't started yet.
They squeaked another championship out of it, which is fucking crazy, and it was a great run. And they were like they were a dominant team that year. That you cannot take anything away from that team. But it's looking a little bit chalked at the moment. And I have to say, it does bring a little bit of a smile to my face to see another year with Mr. Christopher Emmanuel Paul ringless. Sorry to say it. I know we try to remain impartial on this
I mean, now that he's a Warrior, I welcome it.
Every now and again, I gotta partake in a little bit of hating, and that will be mine for the day.
Yeah.
So, Mike Dunleavy, thank you. I appreciate you have done something that LeBron James could not do. Jason Tatum could not do. Something that Kevin Durant and Draymond Green tried to do. Mike Dunleavy, you broke up the Warriors dynasty. Congratulations, my friend. You are the GOAT. You are the undisputed best general manager of all time.
Draymond's he's supposed to come back soon, right? Like
tomorrow.
On his,
tomorrow.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, that should be fun.
I'm sure nothing will go wrong.
Yeah, we're talking all this shit. What if they just have like a Celtics type
Surgeons?
No,
they just go like 20 games over 500
They need an
after the
RJ
All-Star
game
break.
winner hit on them.
Oh my God!
Hold on. Wait, when do they play the Raptors?
Be quiet, please.
That'd be good for the soul.
No, bro. 6 man.
Oh yeah, we're still on.
Oh fuck, we were talking about awards. Yo.
Yeah, we were.
I think there's a lot of candidates here. Your typical
Walker Kessler.
He's good. He's really good.
He's the same player he was.
You just be coming out here saying anything, bro.
I mean, I think he's probably. I mean, I guess in the.
No, I don't think it's that outlandish.
In the minutes, he's probably been better than he was last year. It just feels kind of weird, just because he's like in a reduced role.
I mean, he plays more minutes.
Does he really? Oh my God, he does.
Yeah, he just doesn't start. I guess because last year he was in and out too. But yeah, I think he's solidly in there because he's just like a better version of the player he was last year. At least on defense. On offense, you could say maybe his efficiency's worse. Whatever, the ball, whatever. I don't know. I still really like him.
Should he not be starting on this team? I really feel like he should be starting.
He should be starting, but Fontecchio minutes and whatever. But
I guess I don't know. I mean,
the Jazz have been winning a lot. I'll let them
rolling
hang
right now. That's a cool little storyline too. They're now in the play-in.
Wow,
yeah, they've won like what 10 of their last 12,
and they have a -2 net rating. How did they manage that?
Yeah, and when they beat my team, it almost detonated our entire franchise and fan base. So that was pretty cool.
God-given luck.
Yeah, they beat us too, and it was a bit of a tough scene. So
yeah,
dude, their game versus us was one of the craziest team heaters I've ever seen in a regular season.
But sure, you had Norm Powell, right?
I do like Norman Powell here. He's just shooting the best he's ever shot. He's on 45% from the year.
Incredibly reliable.
13 points per game in his 25 minutes, and the Clippers are fucking cruising. So
yeah, they got that lineup with him and the starters instead of Terrence Mann that they call the Powell Rangers, which I think is very funny.
It is really funny.
And they're like a +30 in those like 100 70 minutes or something. Like, hey, good for them. Um, Connor, what do you think? 6-man candidates.
So yeah, I have like three people. I want to replace who I said earlier with Norman Powell.
Okay.
Instead of Bogdan, I'd probably put Norm just because they're winning at a much higher level and he's doing really similar things on better efficiency.
Definitely.
Norm Powell's been great. It's kind of funny because the last couple seasons, it felt like with the way the Clippers were underwhelming things, it felt like a lot of these role players, like we would come into every season being like, wow, the Clippers are so like crazily
So
deep.
stacked.
Like you look at every player in their rotation, it's like, how the fuck do you beat this team night in and night out? And slowly over time, a lot of those players started to people's opinion of them started to degrade, and we stopped kind of looking at some of these dudes the same. Like Robert Covington as a player now is not looked at the same as he was when he was still a Trailblazer. I mean, he's a Sixer now, but or like, you know, I think Nick Batum's always been a little bit underrated, but Norm Powell to me was one of those guys where Clippers weren't doing that well relative to like the people they had on their roster. And like every year we came in and said like, yeah, this is the deepest team in all of basketball, and we get halfway through the year and it's like
Never
that one meme where that dude has the stick and he's poking a dog. And he's like, come on, do something. That's like
mind.
it's like what I felt like I was doing every year with the Clippers. But he's been the exact player that they needed him to be this year for them to win at a high level. All anyone who's not part of like the major four on this team has to do is just be efficient and guard up, and he does that. He's not the defender he used to be, but he's like serviceable enough relative to the amount of shot making that he does. So he's been great. And then, so I have like three guys, so I'd all put like kind of in the same tier. I think you could really argue for any of them. I probably put, I'll go Naz Reid at second. Naz Reid has always been such a fucking sick player.
True.
Like always been a super like underrated. Like if you know how good this guy is, you're a fucking sicko. Type guy, and he's shooting damn near 50, 40, 90. Or his free throw splits have fallen off a little bit, but I mean, 50% from the field, 40% from three as a big man. You know, he's 6'9" with a guard handle he can create off the bounce. Like he's such a fun player to watch, and he's been great. He's been really driving a lot of Minnesota's success. And then for my number one, I'd probably go Malik Monk. I think personally he should have won it last year. I know you feel more strongly about Emmanuel Quickly, and I don't think you're wrong for that. But to me, Malik Monk is the beating heart of this Kings team. He is, even though he comes off the bench, he is their fifth starter. He is their third best player. He is. It's hard to quantify what a weapon he is for them offensively off of pure numbers alone. You kind of just have to watch and see like. It's crazy that sometimes he has better synergy, like in the pick and roll. Nobody, including De'Aaron Fox, can quite make pocket passes to Domantas Sabonis like him. And he's such a tough shot maker. And it's been such a cool evolution of his game where, like, in Charlotte, he was this like, spot up two guard type dude. And he had a pretty efficient last year. And then he goes to the Lakers and he's just another knockdown 40% 3-point shooter. And then he comes to Sacramento and now he's like this combo guard who's running the offense. When De'Aaron's off, but also he can play with De'Aaron. It's a bonus, and then it makes it even more dynamic. He's such a sick player, and to me, sixth man of the year, like you have to look at not just like who's putting up the most impressive numbers off the bench, but also like this dude changes the game when he checks in, and I don't think anybody in the association does that better than Malik Monk right now.
That's definitely fair. I think.
That was my essay. Sorry.
No, I love it. I love it. That was beautiful. God bless.
I love Malik, especially for tonight. Shout out to you, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say he is the beating heart of the Sacramento Kings, and that's why they keeled over and died tonight after he missed those free throws. Yeah, I mean, in terms of like changing the dynamic of the way the team plays, I think he's definitely unique in that regard. I think Kessler is also like that, just on the other side of the ball. I would say
that's totally valid.
Yeah, I mean. I really like Monk. I think he provides a lot for this team. Yeah, there's just a level of dynamism that he brings that they really often need because I don't know if you guys have looked, their offense is really not that great this year.
Yeah, weird. They're ranked 14th from him as of tonight.
Yeah. It's not been the one. So they really need him, and he's been providing. So good for him.
That's another thing with
Um,
him too. I don't know if maybe that explains some of my implicit bias. He's just damn fun to watch, bro. You
That's
you
true.
can't you can't watch a single. He has more swag than almost anyone on the court at any given time. Like he plays with such a rhythm and just like a free flowing joy. He's so fun to watch.
hmm
Sorry, I
Oh
didn't mean to
man.
cut you off.
No, no, it's chill. It's chill. Hey man, I love the passion. I love it.
I will dick
Um,
ride Malik Monk until the wheels fall off, man.
we can get an episode for that.
I can't go on this platform.
What what other awards are there we care about?
Rookie of the
Nice.
year.
This
Chet
one has
Holmgren?
gotten a little spicy, actually.
Not really.
You think
Uh,
so?
I'm leaning more Wemby.
I think Vic has been great lately. I think these last 10 games he has been almost as good as Chet Holmgren has been the entire season. So I'm really proud of him, and he's doing great, and that little silver medal will look great on him. He's probably going to win it because he's like the most hyped prospect since LeBron and maybe the best prospects in Shaq, and he's been fucking incredible lately. He's this absolute game changer on defense, but the Spurs fucking suck, and Chet is like all of those things really, and better on offense on a team that's really good. And it's just watching him play, he is like the impact king. He looks like a fucking all-star most nights.
And I will come to the defense of Chet Holmgren very quickly, just because I've been getting randomly in my For You on Twitter, I'm getting a lot of Spurs like writers and stuff, and like Spurs fans. I don't really know where that's coming from. I would not consider myself part of Spurs Twitter. Um, but I've been getting a lot of people saying that Chet doesn't deserve it strictly because he's playing with an All NBA MVP caliber player and he plays on a better team, and so the shooting is, and the efficiency and the impact is going to be more pronounced than a guy like Vic. Let me dispel some of these claims about Chet. Obviously, he benefits from playing with better players. There is not a player on the face of the planet who would not benefit from playing with a better player. Fuck, even Vic has been significantly better since he started playing with Trey Jones. And that's Trey Jones. That's not Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. So I will fully concede to that. I'm really sick of people acting though like everything is done for Chet and that he's this like system player and he's just like a stretch five or something, like he just spots up in the corner constantly. You are not watching the same Chet Holmgren that I am watching if you think that his efficient scoring is not like you can't attribute that to. This kid has a myriad of counters that he
Bro,
gets
he's
to
got
every
wiggle.
single
He's
night.
taking dudes off the bounce.
For a rookie his size, I expected his offensive game to more be like Wemby's, where it's kind of raw and you can see, like you can see where it's going, but it's probably a year away from being a year away. Chet is there. He has counters on counters on counters. He can get to any shot that he wants in the flow of the offense. This dude is not just spotting up above the break 6 times a game while Shai Gilgeous-Alexander goes to the rim, and it really pisses me off when people talk about him like that. Personally, I think, like I said, I think I'm still leaning a bit more toward Vic. He's just been spectacular since they switched him to the center, but I feel like I had to kind of go to bat a little bit for Chet there because there's just like we don't need to have an unethical discussion about this and just lie about what players are doing or not doing on the court. Like, this kid is fucking sick, man. This kid is so sick.
I have the numbers. So Mr. Holmgren, with SGA on the floor, his true shooting is a blistering 66.1%. Unbelievable. I think that's like top 15 in the league. However, when MVP candidate man goes to the bench, Chet Holmgren's true shooting is a disgusting, filthy, unacceptable 66.2%, which is actually higher than the first number I said, and he takes more shots. And he play makes more. He's in those minutes without SGA per 75 possessions. He's averaging 22 points and 4 assists.
When
he's
Shai is off the floor, he plays almost the exact same way. He just
plays
has
maybe a little better.
He has a little bit more freedom, like you said, to be more of like a hub. But as far as like the shots that he's getting to and stuff, like he just plays in the offense, and he's great at up fakes and attacking closeouts, and he has spins and all this other shit that he can get to. Like I hate seeing people talk about it
a lower
like this.
percentage of his field goals are assisted than Vic.
It's actually well, that's
Anti-oop.
wow, huge. Anti-oop is crazy. Yeah, well, I'm looking at these now. PBPstats.com, one of the best basketball websites on the internet. Go look it up. It's actually kind of unbelievable how unreliant on SGA Chet's statistical footprint is. It is almost the exact fucking same with him not on the floor. Like everything he is still like his line, his full line is almost identical, with the exception that he takes a little bit more shots and he's passing a little bit more just because he has the ball more, obviously. But like the efficiency is identical, the talent is identical, the rebounding, the defense, it's all still there. He's still amazing. What a silly thing to say. I mean, look, if Vic wins Rookie of the Year, he's probably going to, and that'll like kind of annoy me. He's been great lately, don't get me wrong, but he's still not really good on offense. He's okay. Chet has so much polish. He's got the fucking moves. He can legit punish almost any center in the NBA with the ball in his hands, and that's really rare and that's really special. I think there's a legitimate argument he's been like a top 5 center in the league this season, that he's like a top 30 player, that he should be an all-star. And this Thunder team is incredible, and a lot of that is Shea. But a lot of that is Chet too. He is like, without question, their second best player.
Also, too, like he does benefit from playing with better players, but they also are benefiting from playing with him. Like,
that's what I'm saying. People are saying, well, Rookie of the Year's never been about winning. Do you know how hard it is? Granted, he sat out a year and got to sit, in an NBA locker room for a year with some very good players and a very good coach and like soak in stuff and learn. But like, this is still his first season playing in the league. Like, do you understand how hard it is to walk into a situation like this and impact winning the way that he has? That's incredibly difficult, and he should not be knocked because he plays on a better team. He's part of that team being better.
Yeah, it's not about winning necessarily, but it is about impacting winning, because that's what playing good basketball is. And I mean, hey man, it's the proof is in the fucking pudding. It's all there. The Thunder, their net rating is like 5 points higher when he's on the floor. That's not, you can't make, and which by the way, it's already really good when they're off the floor. So him taking them to that new height is everything. I think, in fact, I'm gonna do a little query real quick. Do you guys think that, without looking, do you think there's a chance that SGA's stats benefit from having Chet on the floor? Because I think they might.
Oh, I would be unsurprised if that were the case, yeah.
I mean, I would imagine.
It looks like, quickly, they do. It looks like when Chet... it looks like he's actually... It's pretty similar, I would say, but it looks like he has an easier time getting to the rim with Chet on the floor, which, I mean, yeah, when you have a 7-footer who can shoot and dribble and do all these things like to a pretty high level, and you're the get to the rim guy, it just makes it easier for you.
Yeah, and I mean the Thunder's most used lineup this season of Shea, Isaiah Joe, Lou Dort, Jalen Williams, and Chet Holmgren. It's like a top 10 total minutes lineup, and they're like top 5 in net rating in the whole league. Like he impacts so much. It's just this is such a cool chance for us to have a discussion. Like, this is such a unique Rookie of the Year race, and I just think some people are squandering it. Like I don't think people quite understand how rare it is that we get to have two prospects who are really this close to each other and like competing at such a high level for the award.
Yeah,
it doesn't feel like this happens very often.
I'm still maintaining my position that I think it's not that close, but I mean, Vic is just so good lately that, I mean, I can appreciate the sentiment that he's just, because he's been cracked. He's legitimately been cracked. The improvement, like game to game, like week to week, month to month, has been tangible. Like he keeps getting better. The defense is starting to really be it. It's just like, I don't know, between his offensive struggles and also the fact that, like, I know Rookie of the Year is not about winning, but it is about impacting winning, and like it still looks kind of weird out there with him offensively at times, and some of that's not his fault, right? Like the Spurs playmakers are bad. They're just not good.
I try not to judge that too much, just because there's like nothing around him.
Yeah,
like at some point he can't just like 1v9 every game, especially because he's it's worth pointing out over the last like since he made the switch to center, which is like about a month at this point, he's only playing like 24 minutes a game. Because he had that, what was it, an ankle injury? He had some sort of injury
Turned his
earlier. He missed,
ankle in a warm up or something, and they
yeah, he missed like a game or two, and they've been super careful with his minutes. I mean, he's only averaging 28 a game on the season, and like I said, the last like month or so, he's only playing like 24 minutes a game.
Yeah. I think some of it too is that I think he does have like a little bit of a stamina issue, just like being that size and having to move that much. Like
Yeah,
over the course of this season, like this is already, we are not even halfway, and this is like the most he's ever played in a year, right? So like it's wearing on him, and I mean I get it. He'll work up to it, but right now that is like a thing that I consider.
this is
Um,
pretty
yeah,
much like numbers wise, this is pretty much exactly what I expected him to have.
yeah,
Like 19 points, like 10 rebounds. We kind of said in like the rookie evaluations, like people are going to be a little surprised just because he's been hyped up as like this knockdown stretch big prospect. Is like he's probably going to be in like the high 20s, like low 30s, which is fine.
yeah. I mean, he's taking
Um,
some really hard threes.
right, and he's just going to get a shit ton of blocks. I mean, he's averaging like 4 blocks a game since he started playing center.
I think he leads the league
So
now in blocks per game.
yeah, he does at 3.1 a game. He leads the league in blocks per game.
What a guy.
That's insane.
Uh, yeah. Well, hmm. So
I
you're a Wemby vote officially?
I think so. For now. I was Chet earlier in the year. I think I'm Wemby for now. It can swing either way.
Shiri,
Chet.
Chet.
Glazer.
Okay.
Shaboing boing.
Yeah, what what other awards are there? Most
Um,
improved, we did it.
Um I
Depoy,
want
we
to I want to
did.
change my coach of the year. Speaking about the Thunder, I want to change my coach of the year. I said Rick Carlisle at first. Mark Dagno deserves this shit so
I
much.
think I said that the first time, so now I feel really good.
I could go Mark Dagno or Chris Finch, just because the Timberwolves were so dysfunctional last season. And I said at the beginning of the year, if you remember, I was like, yeah, this whole Karl Anthony Towns shit, they should probably get his ass out of there and just
Yeah.
like this is Ant's team now, and
You guys
they
didn't
they
believe in my son.
like they gotta integrate Rudy Gobert better, and that's probably just only gonna happen with a bunch of switchable wings and like competent perimeter defenders and such.
Mm.
Um, and Chris Finch has found a way to not only make it work, but to impressive degree, to the tune of the second best record in the whole league, one seed in the West,
he's figured out that
best
one end for sure. But
best start to a season in franchise history.
I feel like with the caliber of offensive players on that team, they should be performing better.
feel like
Yeah,
average.
the offensive process still looks a little shaky sometimes. I especially noticed it in that overtime game versus the Celtics the other night. Granted, Mike Conley was out, and he's usually like a pretty big like game manager type for them, who can kind of settle them into those late game situations. But um, I think late in the game they have issues getting to the rim when it matters, and that's a big part of why their offense can stall sometimes. I think Anthony Edwards falls in love with like jump shots a little bit sometimes down the stretch, which I mean he's attacking constantly throughout the game. He played, especially in that game, he played a shit ton of minutes. I can kind of understand him not feeling like he has the stamina to get to the rim, but like we've seen for years, Karl Anthony Towns fucking turn the ball over a million times a game, on offensive fouls, like people drawing charges on him. Mike Conley is not this like driving like get to the basket type. He's more of like a finesse floater dude. Uh, Rudy Gobert in the paint is laughable sometimes. Jaden McDaniels is not that type of dude.
I think their biggest problem really is that their two best players offensively, neither of them are good passers or playmakers. Ant is certainly improved in that end, but he turns it over a lot.
Yeah,
I think he's top 10 in the league in lost ball turnovers, and his passing also isn't really there. It just it hurts your offense so much when the guys who are the main threats to score don't also have the same threat of making a kick out or a pocket pass when they get to the rim, and it really breaks things down. So that's really going to be the next step for them. And I think also too, they have to find a way to make that portion of it easier because neither of them are really great at making reads. Like Cat's never really been a great passer, so Ant's probably going to need to be the one who makes that adjustment as far as reading the offense and finding a balance between getting his own shot versus getting other guys' shots.
I actually
So
really
you're
like
saying
Cat as a passer, but like I don't know, he's not the creator. You know, Ant is the
I mean,
guy who like
there's limits to that. Like he's 6'11", and he's not gonna he can't attack downhill just at will. Of course, he can.
yeah,
do it
he's not the
yeah, like in a clutch time offense, there's only so much you can do when the best way for Cat to like create for other people is posting him like at the nail and have like those cuts and stuff aren't going to be available at that stretch of the game. You know what I mean?
yeah. Like Ant is like he has to be the one because he's the advantage creator. He's the his whole thing is that if he ever becomes a superstar, it will be off of his ability to get 2 feet in the paint no matter what. And if you are a 2 feet in the paint no matter what guy, you need to be able to leverage that into corner threes and to cuts and to, like lay down passes. And he's continuing to get there. Like Anthony Edwards, it's actually kind of funny. He has like some of the most linear progression for a star I've ever seen in my entire life. Um, like he just gets mildly better every single year, and now he's like a vaguely an all-star level player. Um, but that's the one thing he needs to unlock. He needs to be a guy who can like be it like crowbar a defense and like just make it like off balance and create offense out of nothing. And he's just not quite there. Um, Chris Finch is a good shout, but I think when I look at the West, I see the Timberwolves who have a lot of talent and didn't assemble it well last year and have now assembled it to I think a level that people thought they could be at. And then I see the Thunder who it feels like are playing to significantly more than the sum of their parts. So I'm going 2 for 2 on the OKC dick riding and sticking with my boy Mark. Who in fairness, I had the first time. So I'm very consistent with it. But yeah, I'm gonna go Mark. I would like to give an honorable mention to Mr. Nick Nurse, honestly,
I
which
was
is
gonna
weird.
say Nick Nurse
But
should
yeah,
get some talk here. Losing the best player on team in an or one of the best players on team in an off season, and not really getting much back for it, and having to find a way to recraft the team around what you have. And
they look like just as good.
Yeah, they look actually just as good, if not better in some respects.
Hmm.
And I don't know, like obviously you can't credit him with, the emergence of Tyrese Maxey in totality, but I think he should get some credit for putting in those sorts of positions as an on-ball guy.
Yeah, you can give him a little bit, like
And
30%.
finding ways to, I mean, we've talked about it for years that Embiid needs to improve his passing, and obviously a lot of that is, to his credit, he's probably working on that a lot, but he's in different positions now and is able to find guys that he wasn't able to before, and the offense is clicking. Getting productions out of guys like Kelly Oubre, Marcus Morris is playing well for them. Nick Batum was horrible for the Clippers like earlier this season, and at the end of the last year, he looks fucking incredible now.
He's been super reliable.
So I mean, I think he deserves credit for getting production out of guys that we didn't really think were gonna get a ton of production out of, and the team is arguably better than they were last year, despite trading James Harden.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think.
I mean,
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
well, I mean, we talked about like how do you ever find a better, like when you talk about skill set, like fit wise, how do you ever find a better partner for Joel Embiid than James Harden? And the answer was actually just Tyrese Maxey, because the offense because of the way Tyrese Maxey is such a special mover off the ball and movement shooter, and he leverages his speed so well. He's almost fucking like Steph Curry like in that regard, maybe not to that same degree, but the offense has so many more new wrinkles now than okay. James and Joel pick and roll at the top of the key, and everything else is going to come out of that. Okay, they stopped that a few possessions in a row. Now we're gonna post Joel at the nail, and things are gonna come out of that. There's a lot more. I mean, I'm simplifying Doc Rivers' offense to in intense degree, but you get what I mean. Um,
Hmm.
and Tyrese Maxey's playmaking in both of those situations has increased significantly too. So there's just I feel like Nick Nurse is getting obviously he's getting a lot more out of Tyrese Maxey. Not only has Maxey's skill set evolved so much and he's just gotten better as a player, but I feel like he's just being put in like much better situations than Doc Rivers being like, all right, you're going to run with the second unit now and we're going to start D'Anthony Melton. Even though you're one of the best off-ball players in the league, you're now going to have the ball in your hands 60% of the time you're on the floor. So I like the way Nick Nurse has used Maxey. I think that's super valid.
I think the current iteration of Embiid and Maxey, I think you could really argue that they look like the best duo in the NBA. Maybe not strictly off talent, but off of like the talent plus like the synergistic factor. Like because sure, like you have guys like Giannis and Dame or like KD and Book who like on paper like are probably like the sum of their talents is higher than Embiid and Maxey, but the way they play off each other, like they directly interact in a way that those guys don't as much. And I think their skill sets complement each other. And I think a lot of business, I feel like even though both of them are having like career years, it doesn't feel like they're being overtaxed in doing so. Like Maxey doesn't look like he needs to try harder. He just looks like he's doing more. Embiid looks like he's trying less hard almost. Like he's scoring as much, if not more, than he did last year. And it looks like he's having to work less for those points, which is huge because it's like
stretch. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, but I think that's so huge because it's allowing him to have like a career best year on defense as well.
There was that one stretch where he didn't have to play the fourth quarter for like a week.
Yeah,
I know.
That's crazy.
Like, and it's not even like when he was on the floor, he was doing a lot. It was just like he would get the ball in such an optimal position, and the team and the spacing was always beautiful, and the matchup was great, and he was just dribble, and like
I would agree with you about them being a top duo in the league in the sense that I think they've been the most consistent as far as not just, scoring and playmaking and stuff, but as far as just like opening up the floor for themselves and others and like running a very efficient, consistent offense night in and night out. Even if I don't think their ceiling is as high as the other two duos you mentioned, I mean, the Suns have had a bunch of injuries and they've looked like kind of whatever and they're teetering around 500. And I mean, the Bucks are certainly not. But even I watch every game. I watch every Bucks game, and I can tell like Dame has not fully hit his stride to the point where like it feels like every night we're maximizing these two guys together. It's like we can really only most of the time we can only get one of them to play well at the same time.
It's the interaction
really
effect.
doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Like
I think recently, I think maybe the last 15 games. I think maybe the last 15 games or so they've gotten a lot better at that. But Dame individually has been worse, so it hasn't really popped as much.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would say as far as like you said, like even if I don't think they're as talented as those duos that you mentioned, I think night in and night out, I think you're currently getting more from them than like with those other duos.
Yeah, like the way they interact, like the because every duo in the NBA, you have like player one plus player two plus the secret third thing, which is just like how well they elevate each other and just like how much they're able to get the most out of each other. And I think that third component, that X, is like higher for Embiid, Maxey than like anyone else in the league, barring maybe like Jokic and Murray when they're doing their thing.
They need DeMar DeRozan.
Jesus,
I found it. They
need DeMar DeRozan. Like I need a hole in my head.
I still don't know why Sixers fans want DeMar. Like I feel like that would just infringe so much on what they have going on.
He would just be more Tobias for them.
I was actually gonna troll you, and when you were talking about the Wolves earlier, and you said they needed a go-to scorer, and you need someone. You're like, yeah, their two best players can't really play make. I was like, man, if I got a point forward just 7 hours away for you.
I literally made a joke about that like an hour ago. I said if Anthony Edwards somehow got kidnapped, then DeMar could be a great fit for them. Yeah.
Also, too, I don't think DeMar DeRozan is taking a Tobias Harris role.
No.
He would have to. He would honestly have to.
I don't think he's capable. I think
that's the problem. That's the problem with players like that.
I think if Tobias Harris goes to the Kings in free agency this year, like he should, I think Sixers fans will finally realize what he did this whole time.
Bro, what do you mean? How I still don't know how they don't get it, man. He's just good. He's just good.
Yeah, they changed
He
his
could,
role again, and he's still playing like fine. Like it's
yeah, and he
He-
continues to be
he's-
good, and he's been good the whole
He's
time.
spazzed the other night when they played the Hawks. Tyrese Maxey was in foul trouble, and Joel Embiid was out, and they went into overtime. And it just felt like every time Toby got 2 feet in the paint, you couldn't stop him whatsoever.
fantasy line.
It's just he can do anything that you need on any given night.
Yeah,
And 2 nights ago, he had a crazy game against the Kings too. Actually,
Right.
37
No.
and 7, 3 assists, 3
Yo,
steals.
Hey, it was a
Dude,
tryout.
he carried.
He's...
He carried, and the gall of the Sixers fans to post a shit ass meme in our chat talking about, oh look, Tobias Harris had his weekly game, and now people are gonna post the Tobias Harris apology for him. I will staple that shit to my head if I need to. You know, you apologize to him.
If he
Be
does
nice
that,
to him.
if he does that every week, does that not make him a good player?
But it's not even every week. Like,
Ugh.
if anything, his one bad game that Sixers fans harp on all the time is his one game of the week.
Right.
Man, but he doesn't
The
even
rest
do
of
it
the
weekly.
games he's
He does it like a once every like
Like,
couple weeks or
yeah.
like,
Toby, we want you on the pod.
yay,
We love you. We love you, Toby.
dude. No, honestly,
I gotta
that
say,
would go so
Now
hard.
I'm thinking about it, I don't actually know what he sounds like. I feel like I've never heard him talk.
He has a pretty normal sounding voice. I remember seeing him on Matisse's his bubble vlogs.
We can watch
he
the,
talked to Tobias a lot. He was honestly, you got a cool look into the locker room, and he was like a leader in the locker room. He was a very vocal part of that, and like especially for the young guys. And he seemed like a really cool guy. Long Island's finest. Shout out to Tobias
There's so
Harris.
many guys like that where like we don't, because they don't really have a very large media presence or social media presence or what have you. Like they just kind of like float under the radar as personalities. I remember seeing on Twitter, Terrence Ross was just live streaming on Twitch. And
Dude, I
he
watch
was
him play
just-
Tarkov
he was
all
just
the time.
talking, and I was like, I can't believe this is what Terrence Ross sounds like. He sounds like totally different from how you would imagine just based on like how he plays. And he's just like he's basically a nerd, and it's like he's cool. He's just like a chill guy.
Yeah, he has like a higher pitch, like nasally voice.
Terrence
Yeah,
Ross
I was
is
like,
dope.
wow, I
I've
just can't
spent a
believe
lot
he
of
talks like this and sounds like this, and like he just says smart things. It's like
He's the
I've
goat.
spent a lot of hours in his chat, watching him play. He used to play a lot of Escape from Tarkov. I don't know if he still plays, and I used to watch him play my team sometimes. He's a really fucking cool dude.
it's funny
Terrence Ross, please come on the podcast.
because like he's
Shout out to T Ross. You're retired now. You got time.
guys like that who are like the super athletic, like streaky bench scorers. Like we give them this reputation in our heads of like, oh, they must be like dumb or something because like the way they play is dumb. But like, no, he's just like just like a normal like dude, and
He Ross is
he
dope.
was talking about something. He just sounded so insightful. I was like, wow, I just can't believe he sounds like that.
It was probably the clip about his retirement.
Yeah,
Hayden.
I think it was something to that effect.
Oh man.
It's like
So who's your coach
who's
of the
got
year,
more to do?
Bashir?
I think I might give it to Nick Nurse. I really like how the Sixers team
Yeah.
looks, and I mean, I expected them to be good, but I didn't expect them to look as smooth as they do on both ends, the way they do. And
Recouping the James Harden loss has been so huge. I mean, I know that certain individuals
I gotta interrupt.
who necessarily
I gotta
do not have
interrupt.
names.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
yeah?
I'm sorry. This is breaking news. I don't know if you guys have been looking at your phones or not.
No, I haven't.
I have clinched this week in fantasy
oh my
officially. I got the one assist that I needed from Grayson Allen, and I won 6-3 over Bashiri this week. I just
actually, I've been talking too well about the Sixers. Fuck Joel Embiid because he hasn't played in like 2 weeks.
I want to thank
He's
I want to thank God.
He's ruined my fantasy team.
I want to
All
thank God and Malik Beasley, and that's it.
Oh
Man. Oh boy. Yeah.
sorry,
no,
sorry. You were probably saying something fairly intelligent and respectable.
I forget what
Yo, my fault, bro.
Oh yeah. No, it's okay. It's a good thing you cut me off because I was about to make fun of you.
Bro!
I was gonna mention how certain individuals who do not need to be named were dubious in believing the Sixers could escape the play-in this year. with,
I never
with the-
ever said they were a playing team. I never ever said that.
Might have to run
Not once did I ever say that.
I don't think you said they were a playing team. I think you said that you thought they were going to be the 6th seed and there was a risk they would fall into the play-in.
I never said play-in. I said they would be a playoff lock, and I could see them at 6. I also thought I didn't know Cleveland was going to be this injury riddled because their whole season has just been super fucked up.
Yeah.
I thought you guys were going to have a little bit more wins, and also I did not think Atlanta was going to be this fucking dreadful.
They're hilarious. They're so funny.
I had a lot of faith in Quinn Snyder, and I predicted the Jalen Johnson jump before it happened, and I was like, well, if both of those things happen, they'll be fucking set. They'll be pretty decent.
Does
oh my
he
god,
know?
I predicted the Bulls at.
They were not.
What is wrong with me?
We don't have to talk about those, man. You don't want to.
You
see
did.
I had the
Wait,
Pistons.
wait, hold on. You did.
We
what?
don't. You guys don't want to know where I had the Pistons.
Actually, I might have this document still. Hold up.
I do still have it. I was just
Season predictions.
I was just checking it. It's not looking good for me, bro. Actually,
I
most
have
of
it.
these are pretty close now that I'm looking at it.
We all had the Suns really high, and that was embarrassing now. But I guess
Yeah,
a lot of people did.
I had the Suns at 1. That is tough.
Hey, big dub for me. I think I was the only one who had OKC as a guaranteed playoff team, so I feel good about that.
Yeah, I had
Big believer.
OKC in the play-in.
I think I had them like 5.
Yeah, I don't know.
Jeez.
I remember I was talking about it, and I was like, I think they're a really, really good team. They're just gonna need some time to like integrate Chet and like figure out the roles, and they just from day one. They just had it all figured out. It was
Yeah,
crazy.
fuck you, man. What do you know? What do I? What does anyone know?
Yeah, I'm looking at what I was saying about the Hawks here, and funnily enough, this is a lot of Jalen Johnson and AJ Griffin. So...
Half right.
I talked a lot of shit about the Wolves too, and that's kind of tough.
I talk shit about them too. Hey, listen.
Talked a lot of shit about the Wolves.
I mean, okay, I talk shit about the Clippers, but they're a fundamentally different team now, so that doesn't count.
I have the Suns at 1, the Lakers at 2, and the Warriors at 4.
Oh yeah, wait, that's right. I was the premier Warriors hater on this pod. I feel great. Never mind. I feel amazing.
Yeah, you guys both gassed up the Lakers too, so
I gassed them up. I had them at like 5
Was
or
it
6.
real? Was it really that unreasonable? Given
You
how
had
they...
them at 2. That was kind of a lot. I'm not gonna lie. It was a lot at the time. I'm pretty sure live on the pod I called you a dick smoker. So
I thought the Nuggets would have some championship fatigue, and they were gonna, they were relying on a lot of rookies. I didn't think the Nuggets were gonna care that much about the regular season, and that they would kind of just have like championship hangover.
I don't think they need to care. I think they're just the Nuggets,
No, that's valid, but I looked and I was like, okay, so the bench just got worse, which it kind of did, but it doesn't really matter.
honestly, the West is still pretty tight. We can recoup some of these narratives.
Hell no.
Maybe.
All right, okay. Where did you guys have the Pistons? This is really important.
Oh, I had the Pistons
I'm
dead
pretty
last.
sure I had them at 15.
Yeah, I had them dead last.
That's awesome. I had them 11.
Actually, I had the Wizards at 15, and I wrote like a paragraph for each team. I had the Wizards at 15, and it
I did
literally
too.
just says "lol."
I actually nailed,
I remember that,
I
too.
nailed the bottom of both conferences. I was really.
I nailed them too, just the wrong order.
I had the bottom 3. Yeah, same. I had Pistons at 13, because I was looking at Cade, Jaden Ivey, Asar, and Jalen Duren with Bojan Bogdanovic. Had a lot higher hopes for Monty Williams too, and I was like, oh, they can win maybe 10 more games than they did last year, maybe like 7 or 8 more. That's a successful year. Bro,
Well,
for
the Rockets. No one saw the Rockets coming.
for the
That's hilarious.
Hornets.
Yeah.
For the Hornets, I just wrote, this team is so shit.
Yeah, I had the Rockets at 14, and they.
I had the Magic at 12.
Oh yeah.
I think I had the Magic at like 10. I feel okay about that.
I was like, wow.
What is this? 13.
I think I was highest of all of us on the Magic and Pacers, so I feel cool about that.
No,
I was also
no,
really.
I have been the high. No, I will not accept that. I have been the highest on the Pacers.
Where'd you have the Pacers?
I had them like top of the play-in, like teetering on playoff, but like
Oh, okay. I think we had them in the same spot. Like I'm pretty sure I had them at 8.
systematically, you cannot act like there is not 15 minutes of footage of me talking about Bruce Brown signing to the Pacers in the offseason. I said Rick Carlisle, coach of the year, the first week of the season. Man, stop
You
it.
did say
I will
that.
say though, the Pacers are only like 2 games ahead of that top of the play-in spot, so a lot of things can change.
Many such cases.
It's a long season.
In-season tournament finalists, though. Shout out to him.
Yeah. What else happened? Pelicans, cool.
Yeah,
oh boy,
I
the
think
Suns,
the
Grizzlies.
The first episode we put out during the season, we talked a lot of shit about the Pelicans, and they kind of.
I kind of liked the Pelicans.
I don't
liked them
really-
last year more.
I don't
but-
really blame us for that, though, because my whole rationale with them had nothing to do with the roster or the players on it. It was just like, I was like, these are my expectations because I'm done, like, getting hype coming into the season about what they could look like healthy.
Yeah.
Right.
So
Wow.
there was that big five of teams that I said we were talking about. At least one of the Lakers, Warriors, Clippers, I guess they're out of here now. Suns, Pelicans, Wolves are out of here now too. Has to miss the play-in. I think the first time I said it would be the Warriors, and I kind of still feel like that. I think it'd be really funny.
Let me look at the
Yeah, I mean,
standings.
honestly, like the Lakers and Warriors could both miss the play-in, which would be
That would
hilarious.
be hilarious. Oh my god.
But I mean, I don't
Yeah,
know.
I mean
I
they're at
find
11
it.
and 12 right
I
now.
think most likely the Jazz will fall out, and
Yeah, I mean they're on a 5-game win streak right now.
one of them will take that spot. I mean, the Rockets could fall off as well, but that seems less likely.
I think the Rockets are better than the Warriors.
I think the Rockets are better than the Warriors and the Lakers. So
Oh man, what a league!
yeah, I think the
What a
Jazz are
league.
like the worst of
I
them.
can at least look at the Rockets and say like, okay, this team is like one of the best in the league at like one thing.
They have like a they have like a skill.
They have like a top defense. They have been at points in the season. They have been the best defense in the league.
Yeah.
Like
Lakers
I can
have
at least
been, like
look at that.
like an average defense and are just bad offensively still.
Yeah. Don't worry, man. The trade deadline, Rob Pelinka is going to cook up a masterpiece
Bro,
again.
oh my god,
They
I was
Dejounte now, right?
talking
They
about
want everyone.
defensive player of the year, Jaden McDaniels. I picked the wrong Wolf.
I mean, he's been
It happens.
He's been stellar too. So
I really saw the vision, man. Wow, fuck.
Yeah, it's been there. Oh boy, boy. Oh yeah, the last one, the last award, most valuable person. Player.
Boring.
Yeah, sorry. Do we care about clutch player of the year? I don't really care. Do you guys care?
No, but now that you've mentioned it, I
Damian
will
Lillard.
look up who leads the
As
NBA.
of tonight, Damian Lillard.
I need to see win probability added leaders.
You're a
I'm
fucking
gonna look
dork,
up
bro.
total points because
Uh-huh.
that's based. Steph Curry. You know what? There you go.
Fuck. Well, okay.
Bro.
Yeah,
Can we
and
not get this
in
part of the
hindsight,
thing?
the Bucks
Sucks.
win too much to be in too many clutch situations.
It's actually not even that close.
We were in so many clutch games early in the season. We had a stretch.
Well,
of
yeah,
like,
I know, but that's more to do with the fact that you guys are fraudulent. But I mean, on
You're
top of that-
fraudulent. Fuck you.
okay, that's not really an insult.
Listen, we've curbed it. Okay.
Steph
it's better now.
Curry to this point in the season in 26 clutch games played has 113 clutch points on 51, 50, 97 splits.
Don't really care. They suck.
I think it's not.
Sorry.
Sure, give it to him. No, fine, give it to him. It's gonna be
They
the last thing he ever wins. Let's go.
They fucking stink.
God willing.
Yeah.
think
MVP. MVP.
I mean, I think we're all kind of in this similar place on this. It's just like whether or not we care about how many games Embiid has missed, and I don't really care that much.
As of now, while he's still within the threshold of like because there's the 65 game minimum
Right.
now. As of now, while he's technically still in it, I'm gonna consider him. Just because.
I don't even think he means like that. I think he just means in like the math you do in your head.
Oh, like weighing it in your head.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean,
Like
for
you weigh the 27 games Embiid has played over the 37 games SGA has played,
No.
versus or whoever, Giannis or Jokic or what have you.
My answer is emphatically no. I think Embiid has been the best player in the league on a rate basis. I actually don't even think it's been that close.
Bro, an hour ago you said Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. How did you just switch up like this?
What, you didn't even let me finish. I'm mid-sentence. I'm hanging on a comma right now.
Yo.
I'm straight up
fault.
hanging on the comma, and you. Oh man.
Oh.
The thing he on a rate basis. That's true. But the rate is not everything because look, he's missed 10 games. And do I think this is the math equation in my head. Do I think that Joel Embiid's season is 37 over 27?
I think it's 100.
Do I think Joel Embiid's season is 1.37 times more valuable on a rate basis than SGA or Giannis or Jokic? And the answer is no, I don't. I think he's like maybe like 1.2 or something. But all those guys, I mean, SGA missed one game, Giannis missed one game, Jokic missed one game. We're talking about like this Embiid thing. This is the equivalent of having like over a full season. This is missing 20 plus games, and the other guys are at like 2. So it's I don't think he's been that much better than the other ones to put him at first. I think I might put him at second or third or fourth, but he's like I don't know on a game like in a 1 game sample. I think he's been like the best player in the NBA. Like on a minute to minute basis, he just hasn't played as many minutes. That's it. For the other guys, Jokic. I love Jokic. That's my guy. I got the jersey in my middle drawer on the left. He's not been the same this year. He's significantly less efficient. The 3-point shooting has fallen off. The rim shooting is not like all-time great, like it usually is, even though he's Jokic. The Nuggets offense is merely good and not all-time, even when he's on the floor. The defense looks kind of worse. The Nuggets as a whole, I mean, it is kind of the Connor thing as he goes to get his prop for Giannis. It's like maybe it is championship hangover. It could be a bunch.
Blowing my fucking nose, dickhead. I'm getting over a flu.
Oh, my fault. Hey man, I thought you had something over there.
I got something for you.
Oh, that's crazy. But yeah, like I don't know. I don't think the Jokic on Nuggets are this unstoppable force like they were last year. He on an individual level his process has been less good. He alternated between early in the season, he was kind of chucking, honestly. And now these days his statistical numbers look better, but he's been less aggressive as well. He's shooting less, and I don't like that for a guy who is as efficient as he is. So I'm out on the Jokic thing. Giannis is great. I think I have him second. Giannis is like he's just like what's up?
No, I was just speaking about the Jokic efficiency thing. That 9 for 32 game he had, that was just such like a out of body thing.
Like, who are you?
It felt like
I've no right. That's just so unlike him.
Like he was just like, I wonder what this feels like to like just chuck.
I mean,
Jalen Green.
At this point, he's done everything else in basketball. He was like, I kind of want to be shit for a night. Like,
yeah. What's it like? What's it like when you suck? And then he realized it was like that. Now he's committed to anti-sucking.
Really funny game they played though a few nights ago against like one of the really bad teams where he just didn't shoot at all and they like blew them out, and that was really funny.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was against the Pistons, and he took like 3 shots and had like 18 assists or something, and it was just like they just cruised.
The line was 4, 7, 16, and 5 blocks.
Like, that's so funny. But anyway.
People, I had Pistons fans on my timeline like, bro, this fucking guy is getting like Xbox achievements versus our team. Like, this is so stupid to watch. No, for real, they're like, dude, he doesn't even care. Like, he's just doing shit. Like,
yeah. But yeah, I mean, like as good as he is, I don't think he's on the same level he was last year when I thought. And hey, bad, fuck me, I guess, because he went 12 or 13 tonight, right? But
right, he had a great game tonight.
But like even so, it's 1 game. I'm not in on the Jokic MVP right now. Giannis, I think this is the best he's ever been as a playmaker. This is the best he's been as a defender since he won Depoy. He's scoring really efficiently. I mean, this is, I think in totality, this is the best Giannis season we've seen since the last time he did win MVP. I don't know. I feel like I don't see the like total offensive impact as much as I do with SGA, and I think some of that is because Giannis just doesn't have the ball as much as SGA. He's got that Lillard fellow over there, and like, and I mean, Giannis is a better player than SGA, but I think on a like game to game impact basis, I think considering the fact that their teams are about as good as each other. In fact, I would say the Thunder right now look outright better than the Bucks. I think SGA is more important to their success than Giannis is to the Bucks' success right now. You know what I mean? Like,
no, that's valid. Just the accumulation of talent from one roster to another. That's valid.
Yeah, like
I'm glad you mentioned the defense. I was a little afraid that people were not gonna give him the props that he deserved. I said since the beginning of last season or like all through last season, that I was a little disappointed with the effort that he was showing on that end. And I mean, Brook Lopez more than made up for it. But I thought last season Giannis that was the first time in a while that he wasn't just like an all-world defender, and he was just like pretty good to like slightly above average most nights. This year the motor has been unreal, and I was afraid just because the defense has fallen off so much that people weren't really going to give him his love for that, but it's been every fucking thing except him.
He saw Damon Malik Beasley in front of him. He's like, I gotta lock in, bro.
And he's doing all the same help side shit that he's doing. Bud in the Brook Lopez list minutes would play Bobby Portis as like the rim protector and like keep GA in his help side routine for the whole game. That's not the case anymore because Bobby's shit at that stuff, so he shouldn't be doing it. So now, when Giannis and Bobby are on the floor together and there's no Brook Lopez, Giannis really is playing center finally, and is like the primary rim protector. He's been great at it. When he's on the floor with Brook Lopez, he's a great rim protector. When we had Jay Crowder and we were in like these smaller, like more switch heavy lineups, he was great at it. Griff has let him do something that we were begging Bud to let him do for so long, and that is guard the opponent's best players when it's necessary. He's had possessions on Joel Embiid, where he's looked great. He had a lot of possessions guarding Sabonis tonight, where he did really well, where Sabonis would get into the post, and he's just immediately getting his hands in there. He had a couple switches. They weren't afraid when we played the Celtics to switch him onto Jason Tatum, and he did a fantastic job. He has shown so bright and defending in all areas of the floor this season, and so I'm glad you brought that up because I was really worried that people weren't gonna see that just because we're like a way worse defensive team this year.
It's weird because you guys are a worse defensive team, and also like even with him being the best he's been in years, it still feels like it's kind of a far cry from like 2020 Giannis is like one of like on the very short list of like the best defenders to ever play basketball, right?
Yeah.
And he's still not that. Like he's definitely not that. But the gap between that and where he is now is a lot smaller than it was in previous years. So I'm really happy with that for him. He looks about as good as he ever has on offense. So he's like, I think if I were to fill out a ballot today, I would vote for him second. I would just have to give it to SGA because of, I mean, this dude is like the most unstoppable drive to the paint guy we've seen since like Derrick Rose. Before that, LeBron. Like
look at the season that he's having, and it's just a Michael Jordan season.
Yeah,
like,
he's doing like a Jordan cosplay.
No exaggeration whatsoever, dude. He's shooting almost 56% from the field as a fucking guard.
Literally has a like 1-for-1 Michael Jordan line: 31.5 points, 6 rebounds, 6.5 assists, 2.5 steals, 56% from the field. He's a mediocre shooter, just like MJ.
You know what's fucking unbelievable, by the way? Of these 4 players we listed, 3 of them are like 7 feet tall, like eat at the rim demons, and then SGA has the highest true shooting of all of them.
Yeah.
What? Like, he is unbelievable this year, like with the ball in his hands, and like, I think the Thunder right now, they look like the second best team in the NBA besides the Celtics. And I really don't have anything much more to say. His defense is, some of the metrics kind of weird him out a little bit. Like they overrate that he's like a steals demon. I think he's a pretty good defender, and he's got like, this is the best he's ever been on that end as well. Like he's
a steals
just like
demon, and the Thunder have an incredible defense. Like their starting
that's true.
He's ridiculous.
He's free to do a lot of bullshit, like roaming off the ball, but he's very good at it, and he's just an exceptional athlete, so he converts on those really easily. Like his point of attack instincts have gotten better. Like his lateral movement's always been great because he's just like an unbelievable athlete. And I mean, this guy is just like, I think this is legit like a tier 1 superstar at this point, where like, to me, you need like the game breaking skill to be your tier 1 superstar, and his game breaking skill is that this is the best dude at getting in the paint since Derrick Rose, like, or I guess Russell Westbrook or something. Like it doesn't matter what the name is, you cannot fucking keep him out of the paint. He's like the best driver in basketball. Him attacking with the dribble from the perimeter is like, no one can stop him. It's it's incredible. And so yeah, that's my guy.
A
Three for three on my thunder swallowing this episode. I'm doing great.
Shea Gilgeous Alexander drive simultaneously being one of the highest per 100 metrics in the league, and also like one of the highest points per possession in the league is so like crazy, unheard of.
He drives like 25 times a game.
For a guy his size, like that's just not heard of. That's not human at 6'6".
His like bend and change of direction is fucking freakish. Like I don't even really know. And
he's another guy in like that Malik Monk category for me, where it's like he just plays with so much swag. Like his game is so smooth, and like the herky jerky like mid range pull ups that he can get to if you want to take away the drive. Like he's if the 3-point shooting. I mean we're talking about his 3-point shooting. Like obviously it's like always teetering around or like slightly below league average. If he ever becomes at high volume like a 37% 3-point shooter, this is just not a guardable player.
Yeah.
At all.
That's the one thing that you can hope with SGA is that he takes a 3 on a possession and you can just breathe. You're like, okay.
But it's not even like he's like he can have games where he just hits like 4 threes. And it's like, okay, well, I guess he has 40 tonight and we can't fucking win. Like
honestly, I just feel bad for Luka. I feel bad because this was Curry finally started sucking it, and this was gonna be his year to be like the consensus best point guard in the league, and SJ is just like so here now.
And Luka's better, by the way.
Yeah,
than he was last year too, which is an insane thing to say.
All these years of being so upset at 2K for Luka Doncic sim efficiency, and it's real. It's just real.
He's just shooting 38% on 10.5.
Fucking, I'm looking at it right now. 10 threes a game is fucking insane.
That's just lunacy. But yeah, SGA, I was just looking at this. He has scored 621 points on off drives this year. Second is Luka Doncic. Third is Giannis Antetokounmpo, who has 200 less points off drives.
Christ.
He's third in the entire NBA with 424.
Does that include free throw attempts off drives, or is that just
purely? It includes free throws as well.
Wow, that's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
it would have to because 621.
Yeah, Giannis does have more free throw attempts, but obviously SGA is like a sniper from the line. So
yeah.
But yeah, that is a crazy stat to me. Luka
that's what worries me
with 400.
That's what worries me about SGA too, is that he's really good from the line and he's really good from mid range. So how it feels like it's only a matter of time before he puts those two together and can just do it from a little further away, and then it's just like,
yeah, it's not like he has like fucked up mechanics, or I mean his jump shot and his shooting mechanics are like a little unconventional based on like how you would teach a player to shoot from scratch, but as far as it's a reproducible motion and he does the exact same thing every time, like that is what projects someone to be a good shooter long term, and he has it.
Yeah.
It's kind of only a matter of time.
It felt like last year we were like, okay, the only thing missing from his game is the long distance shot, because really how much better can he get from inside the arc? And he's just way better from inside the arc now, and it blows my fucking
He's a fucking freak, man.
Like he was already shooting 51% from the field as a guard, and he's improved to 56% from the field. That is just ridiculous. In one season, in 2 seasons, he's gone up 10% from the field.
So here's the way that I guess the last few years have thought about MVP, and I think in this era where we have so much talent, like in particular these last few years, the way it's kind of fit, I think when an MVP race is this tight, I think you can have like a multitude of people. Like, I think as long as you have the right people in that conversation, I don't think you're necessarily wrong for any of the people that you would give your vote to. Mm-hmm. Like I think if you came on here and said Joel, even though I don't agree with that, I don't like disagree and think that like that's ridiculous. Or like I think Giannis and you think SGA, I don't think that's ridiculous for either of us to think that.
Mm-hmm.
I think as long as you have the right people in the conversation, I don't think there's necessarily a wrong answer. You just have to argue for your guy. It's not arguing against other people. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think there's 4 guys right now.
Yeah.
And then maybe if you're a big Luka guy, maybe you say there's 5 guys, but like I think there's 4 guys. I think
Yeah, I mean the main thing holding back Luka is there's not much team success, and you can kind of
I mean,
argue
they've been
about whether or
good.
not that's no, they've certainly been good, but
They've been
just
really good.
they're not like in the upper echelon as far as the rest of the people in this conversation, and there
At
are
some point,
arguments to be made about whether or not that's one of his shortcomings or not. So
at some point, you just can't explain it other than like this dude is damn good, but at the end of the day, he's just not better than some of these other dudes.
yeah,
Which
it's
is
just a
fine.
math equation. Like at the end of the day, it's like Luka is so good, and yet he is just like outright worse than like Jokic on both sides of the ball. And it's like, how are you going to give him MVP when you can say that? Like every
I want to
other
give credit to Luca. He has been a much improved defender this year. I want to give credit to him for that.
boy, I feel like people say that every year, and I feel like I just never see it.
I think it's legit.
I feel like
this year.
people said it last year. I feel like people said it the year before. I don't see it now. I didn't see it then. I think he's still really, really lazy. And I get why he's lazy because he has the ball like a trillion times a game. I think he leads the league in time of possession, but like
I think
don't know.
last year he was maybe a slight improvement from the year before, but I think last year to this year, I think there's not been a ton of change. I mean, I think the sort of I think there is a value to having a guy like Luka on defense, just because, like Jokic, he has just really, really insane hand-eye coordination and is just able to be a bit disruptive, and he gets some deflections where other guys might not, despite the fact that his motor is super low and he can't stay in front of anyone. But I mean, there's limits to how much that can provide you.
Well, and he's got a super sick IQ for the game, so he reads offenses in the same way that he's on the other side of the ball. He can read defenses because he has such a cerebral understanding of all that. How often that actually gets used?
Yeah, he just doesn't really choose to act on it that much because
he just has
fucking gassed.
which is honestly the one thing you can say. Like, it's not like he doesn't know where to be. He just
I just feel like so far already this season, he's had more nights where I'm watching him where I'm like, wow, he was actually like pretty solid tonight than all of last season. That's just kind of how I feel so far. I agree. The lows are still quite low, but I feel like the games where I can look at him and be like, actually, he was like not the worst defender on the floor, and like some nights I'm like, wow, he was actually pretty impactful on that end tonight. I feel like I've had more of those moments. Maybe it's just a me thing. I feel like I've already had more of those moments this season than I did like all of last season.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's also sort of a consequence of the whole Mavs team kind of improved defensively with the addition of Lively, and I think they're a bit more bought in than they were before. They just don't look at, like, they're not like the Pacers level, just like giving up a million points every night. So I mean it's
hard to be a top defense with Dwight Powell as your starting center. And
yeah, I mean,
what a cool story Derek Lively has turned out to be. From the way that we talked about him during the draft episode, like, has this guy not just completely shattered all expectations that we had of him?
One person
most
knew.
of them, yeah.
Someone knew. No, I'm kidding. I didn't expect this. I actually...
Well, you were on here talking about left hand, right hand. I don't want to hear a goddamn thing.
No, listen. I thought he was
we made
good,
TikToks of you for engagement.
Yeah. I had it backwards. I honestly thought that
I gotta blow my nose 1 sec.
He's good. I don't know. I kind of thought it was going to be backwards. I feel like he's been more impactful on offense than on defense. Like just as like the lob threat, the premier like offensive rebound guy, dude who runs to the basket and catches it. I haven't loved his defense. I think a lot of it is because he's it's not that he's a bad athlete because he's a great athlete. He's just kind of, I mean, he's young and he's like stupid, but
yeah, I mean,
and he gets caught in space.
What we expected. Personally, I'm kind of surprised at how like not dumb he's been, considering he was like, I thought he was kind of a dumb player before. I mean, there are times where he definitely is skating by with his athleticism, but his movements are defensively more polished than I was expecting. The main thing that's surprised me about Lively is his work off on the glass. Like, he is a much better rebounder in general, but especially offensively. He's a really good offensive rebounder and much better than he's ever been, and more than I was expecting. He's really like
that was a
gone
big
into-
criticism
to
we
fighting
had of
the
him.
glass.
Yeah, he's like a big value add.
We were like, man, for a 7-footer playing in college, this dude was weak as fuck on the glass. Like,
Yeah,
is this?
He
We were
was,
like,
bro. He just
we
fucking.
were like, this Mavs
Yeah, I
team
brought up
already.
the game versus UVA where he had 7 blocks. You're like, how many rebounds did he have? And I said, oh, it's not important.
Really, that was like a huge criticism. We were like, well, this Mavs team already really fucking sucks at rebounding. Like, outside of Luka, like, are they?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
is
they
he
do
just
still-
gonna add to that?
They do still suck at rebounding, but he's definitely improved the situation over.
Yeah, it has not been due to him at all.
Yeah. Like they've gone from like dead last to not quite last, but still really bad. So
I think he's shown enough to me that I have hopes that the defense can come around, because I said this during the draft episode too. He fits into a very specific category of player that is very difficult to learn, where it is really hard to be a rookie defender in this league. It is really hard to be a big man defender in this league, and it is really hard to be both of those things at the same time. And I didn't have high expectations. The shot blocking was always something that was there, but we were like, is he going to move in space well? Is he going to be able to, guard the pick and roll well? Or is he just going to be like a switch hunt demon and get put on islands by a guard every single game and stuff like that? And I mean, he's been a rookie big man. Like, he's been fine for what he is.
I think
He's been
of
fine.
rookie big men that we've seen in recent history, he's one of the best defenders. Like, Wemby and
Yeah,
Chet
I
are
think
obviously like heads and shoulders above that, but besides,
it's like
those
Wemby and
two,
Chet.
I can't think of the last time we had like a under 20 center who was this good defensively.
How old is
We're
Trace
good
Jackson?
at all, really.
How old
Usually
is Trace
kinda.
Jackson Davis?
Like 22, 23. He was a 4-year player.
Oh, okay. I think because they're both rookies, I think it's like Chet and Wemby, and then I think like maybe the tier below. In the limited sample size that we've seen of him getting big minutes, I think Trace Jackson Davis has been like a legit, pretty impactful defender, and then I think it's like Derek Lively. As far as
Mobley goes there.
well, I'm saying as far as bigs in this draft class.
Oh, this draft class.
Yeah, like exclusively this draft.
Yeah. Okay.
Dwap Reith has been cool too. He's probably like a little bit lower than Lively.
Doo-Wop Reef. Big day.
Yeah, I saw him like a couple weeks ago for the first time. I was like, who is this guy? He's kind of
Dude, I said this earlier to
chill.
Seth. I was like, I feel kind of bad because on the last episode that we mentioned him, whenever that was, I was like, bro, I called him. I said he had a Star Wars name. I was like, who the fuck are these people that the Blazers are bringing in to play center?
Bro,
and he has a legit jump shot, and he's actually like a pretty good player. Like,
they had another guy
Ibu Baji,
against
right?
us. Yes, against us.
Yeah.
He had a sick game. Ibu Baji. I was like, who the fuck is this guy? He's nice. I like that guy. He's nice.
yeah, the Blazers could use all the bright spots they can get right now. Anthony Simons is super fucking sick, but he's missed so much time.
I have
Shaden-
Oh shit, my bad.
Shaden Sharp had a really nice stretch to start the year. Remember when he was leading the league in minutes and was playing like 39 minutes a game to start the year? Like,
Yeah.
he had a really good start to the year. He was averaging like a super efficient 19 points per game, and it was like, damn, Shay's here. And then
Yeah,
It-
he's
he's-
sprinkled in some really good games, but like the stinkers are starting to come, and it's looking pretty tough.
shout out to
But I will
Scoot
say,
Henderson,
it's-
minus 56 legend as well.
Oh Jesus Christ! But I think with Shaden, it's just nice to know that there's like something there, whereas at times you were unsure if there was anything there. Like now it feels like there's definitely something tangible to like grasp onto and be like, okay, if he can do that again and he can keep doing that, like there's there's something to build.
Well, and I'm hopeful for him just strictly based on we have seen these flashes, and it's like I know everyone talks about it, but like you really do have to take into account he didn't play at Kentucky, and he came into the league at 19 years old. He basically, if you think about it, came straight out of high school to the league in a way, like the same way that Chet sat in the locker room for a year. Like Shaden did not play at college and basically just came in as a 19-year-old and went from playing high school ball to the NBA. And like there's going to be a lot of growing pains, and we're seeing them now. But I feel like the flashes that I've seen from him is enough to make me think like actually this dude could be pretty good one day. It's just unfortunately it's just not right now consistently.
Yeah.
You guys want to do some hating?
I feel like we've done a pretty solid amount of hating, but I'm always down for more. You know me. I'd be waking up extra early to have time to be a hater.
What kind of hating are we thinking about?
Oh, he's locked in.
Okay. Do you guys want to do? This is maybe too intense hate. Do you guys want to do a least improved player?
Oh, least improved.
Like, okay, so like people who got worse, or people who like did not do anything and are the same player.
People got worse.
People got worse. Andrew.
Is it? I mean, I feel like we kind of Andrew Wiggins. Like,
is it him? Is it just him? Is it that easy?
he was an all-star starter 2 years ago, and
we can
and was
talk
like
about that and how fake that was.
That's fine, but also he was the third best player on a championship team.
I guess
2 years ago.
Hold on, let me check some EPM numbers. It might.
Well, I was gonna say, because the only reason I brought it up, well, EPM's gonna tell you it's Wiggins. I was interested because I was thinking about the Blazers, and I feel like DeAndre Ayton is a least improved candidate.
Oh, I spoke about this heavily.
You did, and I didn't quite buy it this much, but like, yeah, bro, he's
just such a mid guy.
Yeah, I don't really know what's going on
here. I thought he was a mid guy before. I think he might just be a bad guy now.
Yeah. Like after all the dramatics from the last few seasons of like now he finally got to his own team. And it's like he never wanted to be this like dirty work, like rim running center, like crashing the glass and like getting his opportunities that way. He like literally coming out of the draft, he said in his press conference, he was like, I see myself as a power forward. Bro. He never wanted to be a center. He wanted to be like a traditional, like old school, I'm gonna post up and I'm gonna get my shit off. Like he finally got to his own team and he got to do that, and it's just like, bro, who are you? Who are you anymore?
Yeah.
It's really weird.
I said before when the trade happened, like I guess I can sort of like from a competitive perspective, I can understand maybe the frustration of feeling like you can do more and wanting a bigger role in basketball. But when the trade happened, it was very glaringly obvious to me, like what was supposed to be the difference between that Suns team and this Trailblazers team where he's gonna have like a bigger role. It felt to me like it was very obvious that there were a lot of guards on this Blazers team that needed shots, not to mention Jeremy Grant being there. He's shooting less than he has in like 4 years.
He's doing everything less, man.
And when you look at his career, the most like the worst numbers that he's had in his career outside of this year was 2021 when they went on the finals run. But the big difference is that like that is the most locked in we have ever seen DeAndre Ayton as a defender. Like he was legitimately anchoring a top defense in the league for like a top team, and that's like the offensive woes and like the you know, this is not a game anymore where you can afford to have someone making $30 million and being sorry, I blow my nose in a second, being a face-up power forward. There's like that could be mildly excusable if there was just like any remnants of the defense that used to be there. I feel like he hasn't been like a seriously impactful defender in so long.
Yeah.
It's like, is this dude ever gonna be like the same again?
I feel like also too.
I gotta blow my nose. Sorry.
His lack of offensive game is really showing its head now that he doesn't have really any competent playmakers on the floor with him at any time. Like Malcolm Brogdon's probably their best playmaker, and they don't share a ton of minutes together.
Simons, I think.
Yeah, I mean, even then, Simons has his own issues, and he's missed a lot of time. Like, you're asking for the ball from Jeremy Grant and Shaden Sharp.
Respect to Money Kamara. Sorry.
Yeah. Anyway,
was he getting fucking geeked over there?
The fact that he doesn't have
fucking knows his stuff, man.
My bad.
Move. He's a non-shooter. I mean, he can't really handle. He definitely can't pass, and like all he's been like from from back in Phoenix, he was mainly a play finisher, and a lot of people were like, "Oh, but he can do so much more. They've got to get him post ups or whatever the fuck." Like, he's not a post up guy. He doesn't have a move he can do like 2-3 times in a row that people can't guard, and it's become glaringly obvious that he's not really able to do much without guys feeding him easier buckets.
You know
Bro,
what's
it's crazy.
really weird to think
You
about?
literally just talked about this dude like he's Kwame Brown.
No.
You say he doesn't have a post move that he can commit to memory and do 2 times in a row.
He's got bigger hands than Kwame Brown for sure.
Yeah.
That's
Sorry, Seth. You were saying?
No, I was thinking about this. Think about how relatively barren, especially like right now, this precise moment, that 7 years of draft first overall picks is. 2013, like imagine all of these players on the same team. 2013, Anthony Bennett. 2014, current Andrew Wiggins. 2015, Cat's good, okay. 2016, current Ben Simmons. 2017, current Markelle Fultz. 2018, current DeAndre Ayton.
Yeah, that's bad looking count.
The question is, if you wouldn't even trade all 6 of those players for like 39-year-old LeBron James. if you were the team that had LeBron James, like,
right. Yeah,
it's all right. These last few drafts got us covered.
I mean, yeah, I guess
Cade's a stud. Cade's a stud. He just doesn't play with real players. There's a bunch of auto-generated people on his team. Yeah. Paolo's fucking sick, and Vic is awesome.
Yeah, and even Anthony Edwards, like but just think about it, and like that's like 6 years of number 1 picks that are just all like, what the fuck, man? Like of those players, Cat has like the least issues right now somehow. Right?
But even still, we look at him and we're like, well, he can't really be like the best player on like a super serious team.
Dude, I know.
There has to be so much accommodation to his game. To me, Markelle gets a pass because like his whole career has just been like completely fucked up by injuries, and like he's just. It feels like we've never gotten like a complete look at him. And like Ben Simmons kind of too. Like with the back injuries and everything has not looked the same in quite some time. But like, yeah, the rest of those guys, it's like Luka Doncic. Like, you took DeAndre Ayton instead of Luka Doncic or Trae Young. And I mean, I don't need to harp on that. Like, that's just that is what it is.
2017, you have Jason Tatum.
That list of players that they've taken DeAndre Ayton over is ever growing at this point.
Right,
dude. The list of players that's like one of the best drafts of all time already.
Jaren Jackson, Trae Young, Mikal Bridges,
SGA.
Like, we're
Michael Porter Jr.
Let's look and see.
Beat Michael Porter Jr. allegations at this point.
I don't think that's a.
He doesn't beat those. Is he a top 10 player in the draft class he was selected number 1? And let's go. Luka, JJJ, Trae Young, Mikal,
Colin Sexton, unironically, has been very fucking
SGA,
good.
Michael Porter, Jalen Brunson, Mitchell Robinson. We're at 8 right now. That is just like not even worth discussing.
His teammate Anthony Simons.
You talk about Anthony Simons. You talk about Dante DiVincenzo. You talk about fucking
Grayson Allen, Mitchell Robinson,
Colin Sexton, Wendell Carter. Like, he might not be top 10 in his own class.
Is he even better than Chimezie Metu? Let's discuss.
Many such cases. Is he better than Gary Trent? Is he better than Bruce Brown? Probably not.
I was just gonna say Bruce Brown. Jalen Brunson's in this draft.
This is a sick draft, by the way.
No, this is legitimately, like, if you guys have never sat down and just like looked at the 2018 draft class, this shit is fucking disgusting. And it would have been even grosser if the top 2 picks were not just like mid guys.
I'm gonna keep it a buck. With the season he's having right now, he might be in Dante DiVincenzo conversations.
I don't think he's good enough for those conversations. Dante's been great.
Dante DiVincenzo has an elite skill.
Oh, Dante's shooting 44% from 3 this year.
DeAndre Ayton doesn't have an elite skill. Like,
is he in? No. Kevin
Is he better than Grayson Allen?
No. This season, absolutely not.
Grayson Allen's elite skill is even more elite than Dante DiVincenzo's elite skill.
Grayson Allen's like a top 5, maybe like top 3 3-point shooter in the entire association this year.
It's just so crazy that this is where we're at right now, man.
I'm trying to think, like, what is the worst player in here who he's, like, in conversations with?
Kevin Huerter.
Kevin Huerter's been fucking awful this year. I can't really put him
Guess who else has been awful this year?
Man, but like Kevin Herter does one thing well in his entire career, and he's been horrible at that this year. Like,
Guess who else has one thing they do well in
oh
their entire.
shit, oh shit.
Oh, bad.
I was gonna say, is he in Wendell Carter conversations?
Hell
But
no.
no, I think Wendell Carter Jr. might be better. Wendell
I'd
Carter
rather have
Jr. is
Wendell.
hella underrated.
I mean, he's been pretty mid this year, but I still rather have him.
Is he might be in no, actually no, Lonnie Walker's been fucking spazzing this year. He really might Kevin Herter really might be the most comparable player from this draft. For him currently.
D'Anthony Melton probably gets him.
That's
the thing. A DeAndre Ayton that is not deterring at the rim and not rebounding or paint scoring at like a high level or even a level is like, what is that as a player? We are talking like, bro, do I have to say it? Are you gonna make me compare him to Jonas Valanciunas? Because I might have to. I don't like Jonas Valanciunas, bro. I'm sure he's a lovely man. He's got a very nice beard. That guy is ass.
He's a wonderful person, not a very fantastic basketball player.
I really hope for his sake that he's a great father, because like, oh my god.
No, the good father allegations.
Oh my god.
Oh
shit. Man. DeAndre Ayton, listen, man. If you're out there, we're rooting for you. I hope you get better.
And he can't stop fucking porn stars. No, man, I'm done. He's in Jerome
listen,
conversations.
Maybe he's yeah. If it comes to a head, I hope he works on his parenting skills. You know, like there's not much left to say.
If he can't stop spending his M's on OnlyFans, I'm putting him in the Troy Brown Jr. tier. It's over for you, man.
What does Troy Brown Jr. even do these days?
He plays pretty good defense and shoots pretty efficiently for the Timberwolves.
He's on this team? No way. Oh, he plays like 10 minutes a game. Okay.
Yeah, I
always forget about this.
He does Troy Brown Jr. things. I told you when Taurean Prince walked in free agency, I said this guy is diet Taurean Prince, and I mean, yeah, he's doing like all the same shit.
Mm-hmm.
He's shooting like okay from
three.
I
thought I said Taurean Prince was diet Troy Brown Jr. No,
respect TP. TP's better than him.
No, I'm not saying he isn't, but I'm pretty sure that's what I said. I think I flipped it on you.
Yeah. I respect TP. He's a 40% three-point shooter.
Yeah, he is
God
that.
Bless his heart, honestly.
This fucking draft class, man. Jesus, ya Allah. Please.
Dude, there's so many guys, man.
Please deliver them. They need help, man. Or sorry, he needs help.
Yeah, thanks to Kevin Knox. God bless.
You know we didn't have to talk about that, right?
Hey, the Fortnite guy is putting together a very nice comeback season in Detroit right now.
Can we wrap up the show?
For sure.
You don't want to talk about Kevin? We got to Kevin Knox and the Pistons, and he's talking about, hey, let's.
I would rather go to sleep than talk about Kevin Knox and the Pistons.
Real.
Because I could talk about either one of those things, but together as like a joint unit, like I think it's just too much, you know.
I found it. Shake Milton.
What'd you find?
Shake Milton. No, he might be better.
No, Shake Milton's kind of ass now.
Shake Milton is pretty bad.
Yeah.
Oh boy. What a fall from grace for Mr. Ayton. He had it all, truly.
Sorry, dude. I do hope he's having fun. Like,
I hope he's having fun too. That's
because he seemed like he wanted to have fun. So I hope now he's.
I mean,
achieved that.
He could never work another day in his life. That to me is probably fun enough for him. I don't know.
That secret base video him is going to go so hard on the collapse video on the Suns. Oh man.
How the Suns fumble the dynasty.
Yeah.
Like, how are we feeling about, like, do we feel like they can still turn that around? Like, is there something there with the Suns? Do we feel
I don't know if
it's not over for them.
I don't know if this year is the year. I think they need another crack with free agency, because I think we all agreed coming into this season, when we saw the players that they signed in free agency, it was literally like a laundry list of players who I would have said fit perfectly and fit very defined roles and were coming off of great seasons that I thought like they were going to carry over. Like Yuta Watanabe, like, came over here to be a 40% three-point shooter.
Kid Bates Diop sucks.
He's shooting 31% and 33% from the field and hardly plays. I was so high on we as a collective were so high on KBD
Yeah.
Last season he was one of the most underrated role players in the whole league. Like people did not realize the type of season that he had in San Antonio. He's been fucking terrible. Like so
Yeah.
I don't know.
Josh Okogie also is really bad now too. Like he already wasn't great, but now it's just even worse.
Right. So I don't like the victory lapping that people are doing right now about like, haha, they're super team. Like this team is it living up to expectations?
It's kind of
People are
funny.
still somehow complaining that they don't have a real point guard. That's not real. Devin
Yeah,
Booker has
that's
shown
true.
he's a point guard. So I think their starting lineup has all of the tools that it needs. Because Grayson Allen has been excellent, Eric Gordon has been excellent, and now one of those guys can come off the bench. I think any lineup that you throw up out there with Devin Booker, Bradley Beal, one of Eric Gordon or Grayson Allen, Kevin Durant, and Yusuf Nurkic can just score the fuck out of the ball. And in the few like limited sample size that I've seen, like that vision that they had together, it's been great. It's all the other shit. They can't get stops when any of those guys are off the floor, and that's why it was especially rough when they had so many injuries because it's just like they're not getting anything at all from these other like bench pieces. So I think they need another crack at it. I'm thinking like trade deadline, buyout market, free agency. I mean it's just like players. Like I don't think the Bucks are going to retain Malik Beasley after with the season he's having. He's here on a minimum and he has a
They
player
gonna keep
option.
Malik Beasley with the season he's having?
Maybe.
I would be. I mean,
If we
like
don't win a championship this year, maybe he looks at them and thinks that that's a
the
better
thing
chance
is
for
though,
him.
the guys who go ring chasing go to the teams that are poised to be in position to win a ring. The Suns, as of this moment,
That's
aren't
valid.
quite that. And I mean, I do think there's something here. I think, like to their credit, I think Kevin Durant has still been exceptional. Devin Booker's having a crazy year. When he's played, I think Bradley Beal's played pretty well. So if they can like figure it out, obviously, like people make fun of the injury stuff, and a lot of it was contingent on that, and they roll the dice poorly. Uh, but I mean, when they play, they're still good. So if they can like get some kind of streak going, because the West is still tight, they can make a run at one of these maybe top 5 or 6 seeds, and get in a playoff spot and compete. But
Yeah.
that's like the only path. Like they're capped out. Like there's not
I
much movement to be made on that end.
I don't think the injuries to their big three would have mattered if their role players were playing as advertised. I think if Yuta Watanabe came to this team and played exactly the way he did last year and was a 40% three-point shooter, and Keita Bates-Diop was an elite screen navigator, like sub-elite defender, and like with a league average jump shot, and Drew Eubanks was a really solid backup, like rim protecting center. I think
Jordan
if
Goodwin.
those and yeah, Jordan, I was super high on Jordan Goodwin too, and he's like not been good at all. I think if those four had come over and played exactly as advertised, this would be a very different team, even if they had the same
Yeah.
injury luck. I really think we talked about it a lot. Like the concerns that people had about this big three's fit was never real. Like, they're all of those guys are more than capable playmakers. Bradley Beal gets to the rim as much as anybody in
They
this
played
league.
well together, like those three
Right.
at least.
I think that is there. I think that vision is totally there. And now they have Grayson Allen, who's again, I think maybe at this point a top 3 shooter in the league. Certainly top 5. Eric Gordon has been awesome, and like I said, the vision with Yusuf Nurkic, and the reason they made that trade to like really juice their offense has been there. It's just like the other stuff, and they gotta fix like some of this surrounding talent if they want to get anywhere. But I'm not writing them off. I don't know if they have it in them to win a championship this year, but I would not expect them to stay at 8 for very long.
I think yeah, I think I mean there's definitely improvement to be made there. I think long term, if they want to compete, there has to be like one of these guys has to work out. Like
Yeah,
I think if Okogie figures out the shot, that's really really good for them. But the fact that he was already not really a good shooter and is even worse now is a disaster because he's genuinely like a good defender.
Mm-hmm.
But like they need Okogie to work out. I think it would be really, really good for them if KDB worked out, but he's like, I don't know, like just forgot completely how to play.
Him to me was the biggest, like,
I think
if
if
this
those
dude
two,
comes over here and is really fucking good, this team's
yeah,
ceiling is crazy. Like, if he's the fifth starter, they can do so much.
I think if those two kind of figure it out, and then they get like one more guy, I think they're in a good spot because I think Eubanks can play, and like I mean Eubanks isn't good, but he can play. Bulls had some moments for them where he looks playable. I mean, maybe that there's something there, but I mean, beyond like they really
No,
only need
Don't gas it. No,
they
don't
really only
gas
need
it.
like two more guys, and they'd have enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's tough.
Do you guys think are you totally out on them? Like,
I think it would be
As far
really
as
hard
them
for
winning
to
it,
recover from where they are this year. Like I think they're still a good team, but a ring is kind of out of the question for them at this
as
point.
far as them winning a championship this year, I mean, kind of, yeah. Like I said, I think there's so much personnel shifting that needs to happen because
Yeah.
I don't see a lot of like even if one of these guys starts playing better, I don't know if it's enough.
Yeah, something would have to change pretty drastically in this team for them to have it. Like one of these, they would have to like flip a switch totally in production.
I think if they can lock up a top 6 seed, they can make a really deep run.
But like this group, like Katie, Booker, Grayson, Beal, that's a really really good unit, and they're all playing well. Like if they can sort out the auxiliary stuff, they'd be in a good spot.
there's a center who's been pretty good in the past, who's at his lowest value right now. They could get him for pretty cheap.
Oh,
Yeah, they kind of really need to get off the Nurkic contract. Uh,
Fucking hell, man.
don't
No,
look Yusuf Nurkic versus DeAndre Ayton defensive EPM. It's not-
I don't feel like looking at any of those.
that was a fun
players right now.
episode. That was a great
That
episode.
was, yeah, bro. I don't. No, I think I'm out on them. Who here? Okay, I think to close, let's do tiers of like the teams that are like not shit, because I don't really care if you think I don't know, Rockets are better than the Jazz or not. Um, what are our tiers of teams that can win? So in my head, and you guys can do it differently. This is just like an on the fly thing. In my head, I have like the inner circle contenders, and then like the long shot contenders who can like, maybe there's something there, maybe they can win it, but right now they don't look like a team that can win a title.
Mm-hmm.
Inner circle for me.
Inner circle, I have Boston, I have Philadelphia, Oklahoma City, Denver, and that's it.
Okay. I would.
You don't got nothing else to put in there?
Let me think. I would add to
Um,
that.
no, I don't have anything else there. The
I
Wolves
would add to
are
that
like
the
a
Clippers.
mid.
And that's
Oh,
those
you know
are
what?
very sicker contenders.
You know what? Yeah, I agree. Actually, give me the Clippers too. Give me the Clippers too.
But those would be my five like. These are my like picks for a title. Outer circle contenders. I would then have like the Bucks, the Wolves, and then
The Heat.
shut up.
The Heat.
I'm never.
The Pelicans.
The Pelicans are a good pick. I think our team is about as good as the Pelicans are.
So the Pelicans and the Knicks is what you're
Yeah.
saying.
And then that I think that would be it. It would be those
And
four.
the Heat.
Not
No
the
Heat?
No, not the Heat.
No Heat.
No Heat.
All right. So for me, tier 1, Boston, OKC, Philly, Denver, Clippers. Tier 2, Minnesota, New Orleans, Milwaukee, New York. I hate to say it, but Miami.
No Heat.
I see a universe where they can do some bullshit, because there's always a universe apparently.
The math is gonna the math is gonna come in this time for sure.
Eric Spoelstra doesn't give a fuck about our numbers, man.
I don't know,
He
man.
just never had-
Jimmy Butler's missed a lot of time, and
they're
they're still pretty
still
decent.
I don't.
they have they're
they
worse than
always-
us, but they have the same record we
It
do,
doesn't
and that's
matter.
without Jimmy.
They could be missing all of their starters and they would still have a decent record. They could have a -7 net rating and they would go 500. I don't care. The math is gonna catch up eventually. Eventually, it will matter.
I want to
This has-
believe you're right.
This has the same energy as LeBron's 32. This fuckery won't go on for much longer. This is like the team equivalent of that.
Me and Seth were actually like just talking about that the other day, where we were like, "Oh yeah, it really felt like he was starting to, quote unquote, let decline a little bit, and then he was just incredible this year."
It's weird. He's amazing, and AD is amazing. I still don't think the Lakers are there. I don't think they can do it with this roster.
I actually think they're bad, to be honest.
I don't think they're bad, but I think they're mid. I don't think there's a scenario unless there's like some serious roster overhaul where they get back to where they were last season, and where they were last season is still way worse than the Nuggets.
Which is crazy because they won the in-season tournament, and it seemed like, okay, this can really be like the ignition point for their season.
They
to,
face
really
the
take off.
Pacers and the Pelicans. It's
You just said the Pelicans are like a dark horse team, like an outer circle team that you can like. For
yeah, they beat them in a best of one, Connor.
I hate to tell you,
That's a game. That's called winning a game.
yeah, and how do you win a playoff series?
You have to win multiple games.
More than one game.
You don't think they can do that?
I think as it
No.
stands right now, this Lakers team probably could not. Like in most scenarios, they would not win a best of 7 against the Pelicans.
And I think
they would win or they would lose 65 out of 100 of those series probably.
I just put a lot of stock into the fact that if they played them in a best of 7, Valanciunas would get played off the floor.
Well, that's
Against
Valanciunas
the
though. I'm not. That's not my barometer.
But
I think there's a scenario where I can see the Pelicans beating other teams that are in tier 1. Like I can see the Pelicans beating OKC in a series.
Okay.
I think a scenario where the Lakers face the Thunder and the way these teams look right now, they're getting the fucking cat piss beaten out of them.
Oh no, I'd take the Thunder there too.
No, it's not even I would take them. I think you would be stupid to take the Lakers in a scenario like that. Like, no offense to all my less fortunate Los Angeles residents out there.
Some of
there's
them, I would wish some offense on by myself.
some offense, depending on who you are. Hey, the Clippers are great. I think they're there. What do you think, Connor? What are your tiers looking like?
Tier 1, Celtics, Bucks, Thunder, Nuggets. I hesitate to put the Clippers in there, but they've been so damn good.
Mm-hmm. What
And
about the Sixers? No, that's fair.
Because I bought into it last year, and I watched them, and I was like, wow, this team looks and feels very different to me than in years past. I think they might finally have enough. And they just lost again in the second round.
You make a good point. I said last year I wouldn't let the Sixers trick me again, and I feel like I'm getting tricked.
I feel that it's not necessarily that I don't think they're good enough. It's the same way that I talked about the Pelicans in our preseason rankings, where I could before the season started, I could totally see the Pelicans being a very good team, and I like a lot of their players, but it's just they've been healthy, they've been injury riddled as fuck the last few years, and so I was like, okay, I'm just done having that type of expectation for them. That's where I am with the Sixers. It's not that I don't think they're good enough. I have just been disappointed time and time again, and so I'm kind of done expecting that of them. And so to me, anything, if they can finally make a fucking conference finals, I would be astounded, and that would blow my mind, and that would be awesome. So I'm really not even thinking about the finals. So no, I wouldn't put them in that realm. I feel very differently about my team for reasons that I don't really have to talk about. You could probably infer.
Yeah.
So I'd probably say the Celtics, us, Thunder, Nuggets. I think I can say the Clippers. The Clippers have something that I really like that I think is more important to a championship team. They also do just have the raw, super high talent level. I think it's really hard to be a championship team in the current climate if you don't have lineup versatility. And the Clippers have so many different looks that they can go to with their wings, with their centers, as far as going big, going super small, having more rim running or more like playmaking hubs in Plumlee. I value that type of stuff, so I guess I could see. So probably those 5
I
teams.
will say I do feel a bit odd about including in the inner circle contenders a team that possesses both James Harden and Russell Westbrook at the same time.
Can you be nice, please?
I love the season that Russell Westbrook has had. So
you do?
Love.
I love it. I love it.
I love the part where he's on the bench and he's like a really cool guy.
Yeah, he's been great at that.
No, like when he's on the bench.
Oh, listen.
Like when he's I was gonna say when he's sitting down, but he's often standing because he's a really good teammate. It probably comes from the same place where he's a really good father.
I am just happy for him that he is out of that fucking nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's in the same city and playing in the same arena, but I'm just happy.
Yeah. LA is a nightmare. I get it.
I'm happy he's out of that arena. Okay, listen. Say what you. He has all the same Russell Westbrook problems that he normally does, like inefficiency.
I actually don't think that's true. I think he's like
boneheaded shit. I think this is
a good defender now.
No, that's what I was gonna say. I think most of his problems are the same. This is the best defensive season of his career.
Yeah,
which is so weird.
He has been very good. No, I like what he does there. He is in the same like. To a lesser extent, I'm gonna keep bringing up the Malik Monk thing. Russ's energy shifts the game when he comes in a positive way to me. Even though he still has all the same deficiencies that he had before, he comes in. He has fully accepted his role, and there is not many nights where I look at him and I'm like, yeah, he's really fucking doing too much right now. It's really a lot of just he's just trying to do everything that he can. Whatever they need, he does it. Which he's always done in his career, but I like that he's accepted this role now. Honestly, James Harden scares me more because at the current stage of Russell Westbrook's career, there's no series that they play against another team where he has to play. You cannot say the same about James Harden. So if James Harden is just
he has to play well,
and he has to be good. Like, so if he's just fucking up for an entire series, you can't there's nothing you can do about it. Russell Westbrook, you don't have to play Russell Westbrook.
Yeah.
So that's
the Clippers can't afford to not play James Harden.
I just put more stock into healthy Kawhi and Paul George, which is maybe a little hypocritical to say with the what I said about the whole Pelicans thing, but they've both been spectacular this year. And like I said, they have the lineup versatility that I really like in a contending team. So
I mean, they have this was on the deleted episode. They had the best big 3 in the NBA right now, based on how all 3 of them are playing. I would say, kind of for sure, actually. Your team, the Buckaroos, they're in a different spot than most of the dark horse teams because I feel like unlike the Pelicans and the Knicks and the Heat, and why are the Heat here? Why do the Heat have to be here? I feel like the Bucks are the only team here, and the Wolves, the Bucks are different than the Wolves and the Heat because they have a roster such that I could see them having mobility into the tier 1. There is a version of this Bucks team that exists that could be an inner circle contender with their current roster, with their current talent, with their current setup.
Yeah. I
don't think you can say that.
Trade away.
I don't think you can say that for any of those other teams because none of those other teams have an inner circle superstar like Giannis Antetokounmpo. That's just kind of the reality of it.
I don't even know that you guys are one trade away necessarily. I think there's a version of this Bucks team with this personnel that's like a good defense instead of a bad one.
Yeah.
Yeah, when Jay Crowder comes back, that's going to change a lot of things. And something that we have started to figure out lately more is that Andre Jackson Jr. is really fucking good and needs to play a lot.
They need to listen to me.
And I've said from day one, this kid is sick. I love what his skill set is. He can be so impactful. He's such a winning player. He needs to play. We need to see what we have in him. And we have, and he's amazing. He's been so fucking good. And we've started to figure out now. I mean, Dame was out for personal reasons, and Cam Payne was in concussion protocol, but the first game that he was healthy and could play again, Cam Payne didn't touch the floor. And we started Andre Jackson, and we were just using Chris Middleton and Giannis as point forwards, and Ajax does enough on the floor as far as offensive rebounding and getting his hands in passing lanes, and being a super sick defender that like he really fits here. Like there's a world where Jay Crowder comes back and we're not taking a wing out, we're taking like campaign out, and we just have a bunch of wings and we're running the offense through Giannis, Chris, and Dame all the time. And we have all these like 6 shooters and defenders, and I just said we might be one trade away because Pat Connaughton has been just fucking miserably bad this year, and I just look at some of the guys in like his salary range that we could go get if we attached like 1 or 2 second-round picks to him, and it's like, why would we not do that?
Dorian Finney-Smith, you are.
They want 2 firsts, bro. They are smoking dick and penis over there.
Hey man, he's been great. He's been excellent.
No, he's been amazing. Hey, we don't have it like that.
Want 2 firsts for everybody, and they never get the 2 firsts. Like,
hey, straight up, we don't have it. Whatever they want, we don't have it. So I've moved on from that. Give me DeLon Wright. Give me there's Matisse Thybulle's name has been thrown around a lot lately. Give me Matisse Thybulle. Something of that nature. I don't know.
It's really
or Jay Crowder comes back and we're just fucking sick and we don't need to do anything.
I don't know. To me, it's really simple. The Bucks right now are a below average defense. If they become an above average defense, they can be tier 1. That's really it.
I literally think if we get to like 12 or 13 defensively and remain a top offense, that's enough for me.
Sadly, you're like 20 right now.
Yeah, no, it's not good right now. I've seen like, and I trust the personnel that we have to get stops in important games, like down the stretch in the clutch, especially when Jay is back and we can have lineups where it's like Dame, Jay, Chris, Giannis, Brooke. That to me is like that can win everything right there.
Oh jeez, I didn't realize this was still a thing. You guys are 20th with what is still the second most fortunate opponent 3-point shooting percentage in the league. Oh boy.
It didn't fucking feel like it versus the Jazz.
Oh, the regression. But yeah, I mean, you guys keep managing to win games somehow. Shout out Malik Monk for the 3rd time this episode. I
mean, that's why I'm not like hitting the panic button. Is because for all of our deficiencies, we have a super winning record, which like I don't typically put a lot of stock into it, like into regular season records, but at the same time, it's like I watch us play and we play really fucking bad for like 3/4 of the game, and then we just have like a quarter where we just turn it way the fuck on and play exactly how we're supposed to, and we just look completely unfuckwithable.
Yeah.
And against good teams, against good competition. Say what you want about all the scheduling stuff, but hey, we fucking ran the Celtics shit. I don't want to hear a thing about road back-to-backs or none of that shit, because
that game was hilarious.
That happened to us last year. The last time we played them last year was at the end of a road back-to-back, and we played 5 games in 7 days, and their fan base did not give us any grace for that. We could not stop hearing shit about it on Twitter, so I don't want to hear anything about it. We blew their fucking backs out.
I think that might be the only game of the season where nobody in the Celtics starting 5 had double digits.
They didn't even fucking start the second half. Yeah, they ran out a lineup with like 4 white dudes to start the second half. Like, you know how fucked up that is? They gave way up.
Yeah.
I believe in us, but I mean, part of that's just me being a homer. I think that about covers it. We are teetering maybe around the fucking 3-hour mark.
We did it.
We're just
again
under 240 right now.
Oh, good.
So 1 episode then.
Cool. Yeah, cool.
We'll see.
Thank you very much for watching this episode of Triple Single Podcast or listening. We appreciate it if you made it all the way to the end, and thank you for supporting us even through our unplanned hiatus. Things should hopefully be a lot more consistent now. There's just a lot of real shit happening, and the holiday season and everything just kind of junked everything up. But we're gonna try and get back and be more consistent now. But thank you very much for listening, and we will see you guys next time.
Derek White's the best player on the Celtics.
Cook.